I started meditating on Siachen, and in January '99, when I first spotted the enemy activity and the enemy bunker, the promotion procedure or criteria that needs a relook really, because we are not promoting the people who have fought the war. I rejoined the unit voluntarily on hearing about the Kargil intrusions. I had reported the enemy activity that was 0.5770. वहां पे 13 पाकिस्तानी मारे थे इंडियन आर्मी ने. तो लोगों के इतने बलिदान होते हैं, उनके बारे में आप बात भी नहीं कर सकते. तो आप ये सोच लीजिए कि हम किसी जिस सोल्जर के बारे में वी आर एबल टू सिंग हिज प्रेजेस, वी हैव हंड्रेड्स एंड थाउजेंड्स अननोन. तो कैप्टन चीमा को पीवीसी मिलना चाहिए था, बट ही सिंपली गॉट अ सेना मेडल गैलेंट्री. दिस बुक व्हिच वाज पब्लिश्ड इन 2018 by a lady journalist of Pakistan. So she says that our men kept on moving in and they found that there's nobody stopping them. The greatest discoveries about sun and moon are by east. They first time found water, Chandrayaan 1, Bharat's this thing. In 2001, I was dismissed from army service.
You say the word dismissed as a badge as if you wear it like
that.
No,
I wear it as a medal.
Today is Independence Day, and it is my privilege to share a story on our channel, a story of transformation. I'm a seeker of transformation. I look out for that because I've experienced that in my life as well. Our guest today is ex-Major Manish Bhatnagar. He joined the Indian Army at a very young age of 16 years, 8 months. I read that. I heard that in another podcast of his.
Yes, ma'am, that's right.
And he was the first one to, during the Kargil infiltration, he was the first one to alert the Indian side of a possible bunker over there and a threat coming in. Well, that is something that we're going to understand as the story unfolds. But it is my privilege to have this conversation with you, Major Bhatnagar. Welcome to the channel. This is one of the first of this kind that we are doing, and it is a great feeling for me to be having this conversation with you on Independence Day. So happy Independence Day to you to start
Thank you, ma'am. Same to each one of us. And while we greet each other with this compliment, we also recall the innumerable sacrifices, the cellular jails of Andaman, Bhagat Singh ji, Sukhdev ji, Rajguru ji. The number is huge, and these are the ones whom we know about. And we then had Durga Bhabhi, जिन्होंने भगत सिंह जी को और उनको प्रोटेक्ट किया. And there are innumerable numbers. The आजाद हिंद फौज के जो सिपाही थे, जिन्होंने बाद में अपने ही देश को स्वतंत्र कराने के लिए trials झेले, tribulations झेले. They fought with minimal things. They fought an army like the British Indian Army. And after the war also they faced so much for nothing. So I'm very sure, I believe in rebirth, कि वो जो हमारे उनका जो बलिदान है, जो उनका निस्वार्थ उनकी सेवा थी, वो जैसे हमारे दिलों में जिंदा है. जब भी उनका नाम आता है हम श्रद्धा से भर जाते हैं. So that is something which I think the greatest earning that they have acquired. वर्ल्डली पोजीशंस उनको चाहे ना मिली हो, जितने कष्ट उन्होंने सहे. मैं खुद सेलुलर जेल गया हूँ, और मैं वैसे अगर आपको बताऊं, अगर कोई थ्रेटन करेगी जी जेल एटसेट्रा, तो जेल वगैरह जैसे अगर कोई फौजी कई जगहों पे सर्व किया होता है, तो वहाँ कई बंकर्स ऐसे होते हैं कि आप खड़े नहीं हो सकते दिन भर या 24 घंटे, जब तक आपको एनिमी नजर में है आप. लेकिन जो सेलुलर जेल थी, दैट वाज सम प्लेस. और वहां पे सावरकर जी जैसे पॉलिटिकल प्रिजनर्स, जिन्होंने इतनी सजाएं भुगती, इतनी यातनाएं भुगती, तो हम लोग कहीं भी, आपको कहीं भी ऐसा लगता है कि हम लोग कुछ कर पा रहे हैं, तो हम उनके मुकाबले हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. तो हम जब आप एक दूसरे को ग्रीट करते हैं, वी ऑल्सो रिमेम्बर द सैक्रिफाइसेस व्हिच मेड ऑल दिस पॉसिबल.
Truly, you said it right.
And I'm privileged to be on this platform with you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Because any platform which is identifying certain issues which may be found beneficial for the society, which generate a new discussion, we always cherish, whatever be the the level or the size of the platform itself, because everything starts with a trickle. आप कभी गंगा जी का या नर्मदा जी का उद्गम देखेंगे तो एक बूंद से शुरू होता है, जो सागर तक जाके.
सही कह रहे हैं. मैं actually I was listening into your various interviews, and I do realize a lot of channels you've been present in various discussions before this also. What I also realized is that it is imperative to have as many conversations as possible, so that the story gets told with different perspectives and different angles to the same story can be viewed.
Yes, ma'am. This is quite an assetful mention you made, because there are so many people. God has made each one of us differently, and our experiences of life shape us in a manner that we react differently, and our thought that are trigger are different. And this is the first time I'm being interviewed by a lady. मैं आपको एक कॉस्मिक सीक्रेट बताना चाहूंगा कि जो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो आदि शक्ति हैं वो जो हमारी भारत की देवियों के रूप में उपस्थित हैं हमारे जीवन में अलग अलग फॉर्म्स में, तो वो एक्चुअली जो पूरा कॉस्मस की क्रिएशन है, अगर आप चाहें तो मैं एक छोटी सी स्टोरी सुनाना चाहूंगा कि
प्लीज प्लीज।
एक बार पार्वती माता के मन में ऐसा एक विचार आया कि वो बहुत वो परिवार से अपने प्रसन्न थी, एंड शी सेज कि महादेव जी से वो कहती हैं कि शायद अब कुछ जीवन में कुछ और बाकी बाकी पाना नहीं रहा है, अब कोई इच्छा ही नहीं बची है। एंड सडनली वंस शी एंटरटेन्ड दिस थॉट, immediately the जो सृष्टि थी वो कोलैप्स होने लगी, that started withdrawing into herself, because they are such powerful beings that they are said to create the cosmos just by the power of their thought. So वो आदि शक्ति के मन में जैसा ही ये परिवार को चलाने की या एक तरह की जो उनके माइंड में थॉट आया, everything started collapsing. So when we say adi shakti or the feminine energy, it is through their will and desire that the cosmos exists. This is my belief, truly. And the story was shared to me by my wife. And the moment I heard it, I found answer to so many questions, whether matter came first or the energy came first, or what is it that triggers the cosmos from nebula.
वाओ,
We will talk
मतलब ये
about it
डिस्कशन तो एंडलेस
possibly.
ही हो सकती है। Very nice. And you mentioned it today when we are celebrating our Independence Day, the Independence Day of Bharat Mata.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
a beautiful story to go and align with that.
Ji.
Coming to your story, there is a rise and a fall and a rise again that we see in your journey.
Uh,
When you embarked on this journey into the army, I want to understand. You said 16 years 8 months is when you joined the army. That's a very young age.
yes, ma'am.
What was that boy going through who was before 16 years of age, say 14, 15? What was going through your mind that you want to join the army? What was that boy like? What was your home space like?
Actually, I was an outdoor-oriented person right since my beginning. I used to have a lot of injuries in the sense of various kinds. If somebody sees at my legs, it is all full of injuries, all big, big marks. And I would experiment as a young boy कि वो अगर हम human flesh में सलाई मारते हैं तो कैसे जाती है,
My
etc.
God.
Things like that, and lot of sports injuries. So this was my background before joining that, and I was a good student as well in the sense that I used to do well. Or mostly, my father used to be in a transferable job during those days. The schools were very, very the number was very small. So I have studied in all kinds of schools with all kinds of fellow students with whom I have very good memories. और स्पोर्ट्स से ज्यादा जुड़ा रहा है मैम. एंड देन आई डिडंट इवन नो अबाउट नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी व्हिच आई जॉइंड. आई गॉट टू नो अबाउट अराउंड आई वाज इन 10th or 11th. So without any preparation, I just filled the form, UPSC form. एंड मेरे घर में बाकी सभी लोग इंजीनियर्स हैं. एंड वो मैंने बाय पैशन आई टुक दैट एग्जाम, क्लियर्ड इट इन फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट. आई वाज फॉर्चुनेट टू गेट थ्रू द एसएसबी एटसेट्रा. सो जुलाई में वो सेशन शुरू होता है. सो दैट इज हाउ आई लैंडेड अप इन नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी. एंड I was naturally very happy over there also. The training is very, very rigorous in all sorts of, like, you want to make out कि जैसे 24 घंटे नहीं 30 घंटे होने चाहिए. That is a kind of work you are put through. But that is what, because जब तक आपको कोई मिट्टी में नहीं मिलाता तब तक आप वो जो बोलते हैं ना कि धरती के लाल नहीं बनते, या you become an officer and a gentleman because they teach you. In India there are various places जहाँ लिखा होगा NDA, the maker of man, and it is very true. They make men out of you. A young boy transforming, like all of us go through this journey, all those who pass out successfully, and all those who sometimes are drop out also. It could happen due to various circumstances, but finally you see, it is making men out of boys. That is what National Defense Academy is.
Amazing. Then what happened? So, how was your transformation happening as you were from this young boy turning into the man that you're saying that there was a man in the making? And of course, that man is in the making is the man who's going to be at the front. protecting the borders or the country in the forces. So, what was leading you towards that direction? How was your motivation going in that direction? What were you thinking?
See, if I speak the truth, the NDA training and NDA activity is when you are going through that mill. So at that time, you are going step by step. That these are the standards I have to clear. Then you go to the next standard. So that way, they teach you to break down a larger journey into smaller steps naturally. So
Okay.
you make shorter goals कि जैसे अगर आपने Mount Everest चढ़ना है, so you go step by step. You go to base camp 1, 2, 3, like that you proceed. So this is the key to the training during National Defense Academy. And since I was outdoor oriented, so I used to be a good cross country runner, long distance swimmer. There is a end of term. There's a every 6 months there is an activity in which you go across Khadakwasla Lake from the Peacock Bay. India की Peacock Bay है. From there, you swim about 1.6 kilometers in the Khadakwasla Lake and reach the IAT. So this is all these activities are there basically to remove fears of any kind from your mind. There is also a 10-meter jump, which sometimes cadets they hesitate initially. You just imagine that I'm not. You see, there is no need to highlight me as an individual also,
Yes.
because every cadet is doing it. Just that somebody is in front, somebody is behind. That's only the difference. Every one of them is going through that journey. And for a swimmer, I already knew swimming. It is easier for me, but I look at the courage of those fellow cadets, my postmates and others. They don't know swimming and they are jumping from 10 meters. Just imagine that they are what must be their psyche and what must be the level of courage. So I think that if you really look at it, they were. I found them more courageous than anybody else.
I'm beginning to get a word for you. Humble
No,
is.
no, no, ma'am. Please, I wish I could live up to your words. That is what I would endeavor to. Because I also, as the later part of my journey, in the initial years of my success, in the initial years of my army service, I had never seen any report below 9 point. I used to take part in a lot of competitions, firing competitions, field firing. I raised the Ghatak platoon of 111 GR, bravest of the brave, the unit in which I was commissioned, जिससे एक अशोक चक्र हैं कैप्टन पुनीत नाथ दत्त एंड
Wow.
अनदर पीवीसी कैप्टन मनोज पांडे. सो ये इनकी जो घातक प्लाटून थी इसको मैंने रेस किया था इनटू दी माउंटेन्स ऑफ डलहौजी एंड योल कैंट. तो वो
My God.
पहला जो घातक प्लाटून रेस हुई थी, इट्स लाइक अ कमांडो सेटअप विद एन इन्फेंट्री यूनिट. बिकॉज जो इन्फेंट्री यूनिट्स भी होती हैं ये बहुत ही सबसे जो इम्पोर्टेंट काम करती हैं. दे होल्ड द ग्राउंड, यू सी, विच इज द अल्टीमेट ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ एनी आर्मी. दैट इज वाई दे आर ऑल्सो ऑफन एड्रेस्ड एज फुट स्लॉगर्स, बिकॉज हम लोग वहां जाते हैं जहां कोई मशीन नहीं जा सकती, जहां और कोई मीडियम आपको नहीं पहुंचाता, वहां पे इन्फेंट्री पहुंचती है और वो काम करती है. दैट इज इन्फेंट्री इज द क्वीन ऑफ बैटल, दे से. एंड दिस इज द रीजन, बिकॉज it has access to every place, even through fire, into water, into sky. Everywhere you will find that an infantryman will go.
Wow.
And so my initial journey was full of success till about, I would say that after 3 years of 111 GR, I converted to Para Special Forces, Parachute Regiment. And there I cleared my probation. I was selected for for serving in the parachute unit. And thereafter, I was shortlisted for ADC to President of India, because you would have seen ADC जो His Excellency और Her Excellency President of India होते हैं, उनके पास एक पैराशूट रेजिमेंट का एडीसी जरूर आपने देखा होगा, वो जो पैराशूट लगा होता है यूनिफॉर्म पे. सो आई वाज वन फ्रॉम माय यूनिट. आई वाज सिलेक्टेड फॉर दैट टेन्योर, but simultaneously my Siachen unit was moving to Siachen, so I opted for that tenure. And I had told the MA in the interview that as a military man you would understand what a privilege it is to serve, to be with the unit at Siachen.
Wow. One of the most difficult posts, I believe, that Siachen would be.
Yes, ma'am. It is actually you are experimenting, you are experiencing nature and its extremes. And then you are, it is the biggest objective is to adopt yourself to the environment, to what is happening, and take the life as it comes.
So what happened to you? I mean, how is the Siachen base experience like for your unit? How many people were there? and how do you spend your time over there in that? We'll come to your experiences in what happened in Kargil. Of course, that is something that I really want to hear you speak. But there is this base, which is a quiet base, sitting over there with your platoon, with your group of people. What is it like?
Actually, on the face of it, it seems that people are simply stationed there.
Hmm.
But there are different types of structures within you see the Siachen, when you see there are bases, and then there are advanced posts, and then there are rear areas. So there is constantly, if you're going in some months when the movement is little possible because of less rigors of weather, like in summer months. So that is the time you are stocking for your winters, and you are stocking 3-4 times more than what is required, because you never know when the enemy shelling might destroy the kerosene on a post or the ammunition which is stocked over there. So it may not be possible to again, rebuild that kind of stock. So you are actually doing it to the maximum extent possible. So my first tenure where it was, I basically climbed glacier thrice. First one was for recce. And that is also not easy because you are moving so much of distance in a short time. You are hardly staying at a place. And by the time your body is relaxed from the previous journey, you are moving again. So, and you look at a large area, that is what the recce is about. That was my first Siachen climb. Second one was for a regular tenure as a complex commander, and my complex was across an ice wall of about, I'd say, about 700-800 feet was the height of the ice wall. And then there was a base, proper glacier with crevasses opening and things like that. So that is an activity. From there, what you do is that you are controlling certain body of troops, and then you are basically interacting with them simultaneously. The all of exchange of fire and all those things are there are natural corollaries. So sometimes you are not able to just not move during the daytime because of the enemy fire. At night time, the fire is normally people avoid because the gun positions and other things are revealed or disclosed.
Because
So
of the
yeah,
the
so
light flashing.
night time you are stalking. Night time you are totally staging forward. पीछे से rear area से सामान आएगा. You stage it forward, and you also get some moments of solace in nature because the nature is so serene that you sometimes get to introspect also, because during the days when I served, the things were very remote. So only thing probably we could rely on was music, power of music. So हम लोग जब जब म्यूजिक हमें परमिटेड होता था, लाइक होता था इन द सेंस कि सिचुएशंस यूज्ड टू परमिट. तो हम उस समय म्यूजिक सिस्टम हमारा कंपनी में होता था, बेस में हम लोग सब along with the men, and यू लिविंग with them, so it's like a family only. और हम लोग काम करते थे. तो अब मैं यहाँ बोलना चाहता हूँ कि जो not only the soldiers who are over there, even the artists, the people who are producing music, so they become part of our journey. कि हम बड़े बड़े गाने सुनते हुए, and on that we forget the strains of the work, and our mind, we are all relaxed. So that is the kind of thing, and that is incidentally वहीं पे मेरी I started my meditative journey. So it's almost about 26 years now. I started meditating on Siachen, and which became a part of daily routine for me in life.
How would you meditate over there?
Actually, you just sit, and wherever you could simply focus on yourself. And my way of meditation is basically I do a jap, and then it's a devotional meditation kind of thing. And जो भी आपको natural लगता है वो मैंने एक तरह से उसको लिया था, and I started doing that jap, and then slowly I found that my focus, my attention is drawing to my own self, my inner self, and it automatically happened actually.
It's a very magical place, I believe. When you're speaking of Siachen and you're speaking of the serenity over there, the quiet, the solitude that you get, somebody who's focused on the inner being would find it a very welcoming space, I believe.
True, ma'am. Actually, another major factor is, though the oxygen is scarce over there, the atmosphere is
Yes,
rare,
yes.
but somehow I found that the purity of oxygen is such that I never felt sick on Siachen, ever, not
Mm,
even a cold.
mm.
That was the level
Wow.
of fitness one can attain. And then you feel a lot of, you feel drained also by the extreme cold. And yet when you are warm enough, then and I think जो जैसे बाद में मैंने, which I realized later, that आपकी जो सूर्य नाड़ी, चंद्र नाड़ी and सुषुम्ना, So that is because pure oxygen is moving in, and you are not moving, so body is not requiring too much of oxygen to consume. Your
Right.
lung capacity has increased, your hemoglobin
Wow.
has also increased. So it becomes easier for that pressure on that sushumna nadi to be relieved,
Yeah,
and there is a good possibility of first experience or trigger into the meditation.
I agree.
That
I wish
is
this was
the
taught.
No, this was not taught to me. This I now realize many
Yeah,
years
no.
later.
I'm saying I wish this was taught. I wish this was a
Yes, it
process which
was.
was taught for people to understand how to do all of this also.
So yes, you can. There are body undergoes, because human body is a very intelligent system made by God. So उसमें जैसे ही ऑक्सीजन की कमी होगी, the hemoglobin level will increase. Like when we come down from Siachen, I have come across people with hemoglobin touching 20, 22, like that. My own hemoglobin was around in the range of 18, and
Wow.
all your body gets detoxified when you come down, and you see basically your stomach is clear, and within 2 3 days you find that all the toxins are gone, because body is used to of working with less oxygen, and suddenly you are getting denser kind of atmosphere.
Hmm. Hmm.
Atmospheric pressure is also increased, so that is a time you feel that the body has thrown out the toxins, and you are kind of a new birth kind of thing, physically also.
So then, when you were experiencing all of this, you were in a serene space, serene and a calm space. How then did you respond to the Kargil impact? What happened? Where were you that time, or what was your experience overall throughout that?
Actually, this happened. This was in January '99 when I first spotted the enemy activity and the enemy bunker. So this area was basically, it falls in militarily. If you see, we are facing the force commander northern area of Pakistan, and उसके सामने the basically खरदुगला से जब आप नॉर्थ जाते हैं, that is शोक वैली, and शोक वैली के राइट में आगे एक तरफ नुब्रा चली जाती है, जो
जी.
नॉर्थ एंड सेंट्रल ग्लेशियर है, एंड सदर्न ग्लेशियर इज यू गो फर्दर डाउन ऑन शोक अराउंड 90 odd kilometers, and then on the right of that is you climb towards southern glacier, and in between southern glacier and the another watershed which is about 60 kilometer to your west from the Shok Valley is Chorbatla. So this is faced by a different brigade of Indian Army, and FCNA is a separate brigade actually. वहाँ पे there is one single brigade. So that is where I first spotted the enemy intrusions, and the reports were made as per channel. And then somehow there were certain things which were not getting comprehended, that why the certain army command, army officers, they used to feel at that time उनको लगता था कि ये report ही क्यों आ रही है. It's like that unpleasant truth, that kind of thing, that then there was also, I found a tendency to say, you are hallucinating, you're dreaming, things like that. So then stage came when, as a complex commander, I went and sat in that area. And personally, with my own eyes, I was spotted a bunker, enemy fortification. This was in February '99. So now the implication of it is that if this information was shared with the neighboring brigade of the Indian Army as well as the higher headquarters, the entire course and level of Kargil intrusion would have been different. Because
Agreed.
now as you see certain Pakistani channels, वहाँ पे जो authors हैं, अब history जो उनकी settle हुई है, तो मैं एक 2018 का वो देख रहा था. एक पाकिस्तानी ऑथर हैं, लेडी, उन्होंने लाहौर लिटरली फेस्टिवल में उनकी कारगिल के ऊपर बुक रिलीज हुई थी, एंड देयर वाज अ डिस्कशन ऑन दैट. सो शी मेंशन्ड दैट जो इनिशियल लॉट था वो नवंबर 98 में मूव इन किया था इंट्रूडर्स का, and they kept on spending, then they started expanding after February, when they realized that there is nobody stopping them. It's like a cakewalk. So if
Hmm.
somebody had acted in the initial information which I had given about the enemy intrusion in January February,
Hmm.
then this information, then Pakistan would not have been able to occupy this kind of a front and this kind of a depth. So accordingly उसकी जो retrieval था from the enemy, वो भी उतना easier होता, and I wish our brave hearts would have been with their families and with all of us, जो
Much
उनको
loss would have
अपने
been saved.
जो बलिदान देके उसको वापस लेना पड़ा एरिया, तो वो होता ही नहीं. बिकॉज अगर आप ऑन हाइट्स लाइक दोज, अगर वहां पे एक या दो बंदे भी बैठ जाएं, एंड यहाँ तो पूरे सेक्शंस एंड प्रॉपर स्ट्रेंथ में बैठे थे, So they can simply thwart any attack with even stones, even if they run out of ammunition, because you are
Had the
fighting.
advantage of height.
Yes, yes, because it is every step of anybody who's trying to scale those mountains. जो ऊपर बैठा है वो तो पहले चढ़ के बैठ गया. He is talking only. He has to sit there. So this was a particular thing, and then when the war started, that time also this information people, the senior commanders used to say कि handful of militants हैं, and there was an interview आपके वो हिमाचल प्रदेश के हैं ब्रिगेडियर कुशाल ठाकुर. He was CO of a grenadier unit जिन्होंने तोलोलिंग और टाइगर हिल पे कब्जा किया था. तो उनका एक मैं इंटरव्यू देख रहा था कारगिल की 25th एनिवर्सरी पे. तो ही वाज सेइंग दैट वी वर बीइंग मिसफेड द इंफॉर्मेशन. वहां हमारे ऊपर लगातार गोलियां आ रही हैं, फायर आ रहा है एनिमी का, and we are having casualties all around, and then we are being fed by higher headquarters कि आप लोग जो है, हमारे पास खबर है कि दुश्मन का एमिनिशन खत्म हो गया, आप खड़े होइए और चढ़ जाइए. दे आर क्रॉलिंग, and that is the time they are being misfed all this information and being pressurized. तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा कंट्रास्ट था. देखिए हमारी 71 की आर्मी में अगर आप देखेंगे तो बैटल ऑफ लोंगेवाल यू वुड हैव हर्ड ऑफ.
हाँ जी.
तो दैट टाइम मेजर चांदपुरी है, ब्रिगेडियर चांदपुरी लेटर. सो उनकी जो कंपनी थी वो लोंगेवाल में थी, और उनको ऑप्शन दिया गया था कि आप इस लोंगेवाल को अपनी पूरी कंपनी पोस्ट को छोड़ के आप पूरा विड्रॉ कर जाइए, बिकॉज वी आर नॉट एबल टू सपोर्ट यू राइट नाउ, एंड वी विल लेट दिस एरिया गो टू द एनिमी. लेट्स प्रोटेक्ट अवर मैन, बिकॉज द लाइफ इज ऑल्सो इक्वली प्रेशियस. जब अगर वो डिफेंड ही नहीं कर पाएंगे, इट इज सीमिंग इम्पॉसिबल मिलिटरीली टू डिफेंड दिस एरिया. ना उनके टैंक्स आ गए हैं, उनकी सब brigade has moved in for this attack, so you are totally outnumbered in terms of men and equipment. But वो उन्होंने, it was his decision, it was left up to him कि whether you want to hold on to that post, and he decided to hold on and defeated the enemy because he became prepared. और उन्होंने deliberate thought देखे, क्योंकि even as a major you can't risk the lives of 150 men. It's a big number. एंड जो हमको एक ट्रेनिंग मिलती है वो इसी बात की मिलती है दैट वी आर नॉट लाइक दैट विलेज डिफेंस कमेटी और थिंग्स लाइक दैट. Though I respect them also, but militarily when I speak, I see that our strategy has to be in a military manner, for which the nation has spent so much of money on us to train us, to give us those experiences, so that we are able to take a call what is militarily possible, what is militarily not possible, and if possible with what kind of risk. That is the planning we require. If you suddenly ask a layman कि अगर वो एक इतने altitude पे एक बंदा बैठा है and you have to cover this distance and attack, he would just not know कि कितना time लगेगा. Let alone this, if I tell if I tell somebody कि okay fine, जो अमरनाथ यात्रा का रूट है वो 14 किलोमीटर का है, आप 9,000 फीट से स्टार्ट करोगे और इतने 1,000 फीट पर पहुंचोगे, तो he would like to ask others who've been there कि इसमें कितना टाइम एक्चुअली लगता है, because you are used to of things in the plains and otherwise. Here you are again, you are facing the enemy. So this particular assessment, you are required to apply your mind. Unfortunately, our generals were not doing this. And that also point I am raising is that our the promotion procedure or criteria that needs a relook really, because we are not promoting the people who have fought the war. People like Brigadier Devinder Singh, he commanded 11 battalions in war. He himself was wounded. He was right ahead, which I have seen with I was there in Kargil war from since beginning till the end. I rejoined the unit voluntarily on hearing about the Kargil intrusions in first week of June, 3rd or 4th of June, and thereafter I was there. So I witnessed that war completely from beginning till the end, since June till the end. So this is what my personal feeling is, that we need to, and right now we are facing the similar kind of casualties in Jammu region also, because it is a very long journey from 1971 to 1999. In 28 years, we have seen a big fall in generalship and commandership. So that is, we need a relook into this, because now we are bearing the fruits of not actually assessing the military history, not fixing the internal, we need to know within ourselves as to what has gone wrong. Then only we can rectify it. And because it's ये तो human life का सौदा है जी, देश की सुरक्षा का सौदा है. Because if the army collapses, if the national army collapses, तो आप देखिए क्या चीज बचेगी, कुछ नहीं बचता. आप look at the state of in Second World War, what happened to the civilizations. Look at what when 1948 the Kabalis had reached Srinagar, they were almost there, and other wars also in Bangladesh. Why 1971 war there, and now what is happening now with the government
now
of
also. Yeah.
So this is so we have to. It is every citizen's duty, besides paying taxes to the government, honestly, to also to bring out things which are reformed, to select such people governing the or controlling the such a valued resource which protects not only the nation, also the humanity. Because you can't get justice to somebody who's been subjected to mass rape and murdered, some kids who have been infants who've been killed. What justice can you do to it? As a human being, we can't do anything. It is the nature which, in due course of time, by rebirth or whatever. But otherwise, as human beings, so all that we can do is prevent any such things from happening again. And it requires a lot of forthrightness and introspection to come to that stage.
Very true. Very true. So when you say that the update that you had given, or the warning signals that you had already raised, they were not taken or paid heed to, um, you were told that you may be hallucinating, and the command was coming which was completely contrary to what should have been done. As a result of that, when the attack happened, then what happened? What was your journey in this entire
Actually,
scenario?
what happened was that when I rejoined from leave, I was expecting that I would go to the same area which I know like the back of my palm. So, but what happened that they moved me along with they deinducted troops from our unit, troops from Siachen, and specifically to move with me, they were made to walk 20 to 55 kilometers from altitudes ranging 20,000 feet down to 9,000 feet. And then again, reinduction of 2 to 3 days march through enemy fire and battle loads, etc. So I was moved to a different area, and on this point where I had reported the enemy activity, that was point 5770. वहां पे 13 पाकिस्तानी मारे थे इंडियन आर्मी ने, 12 या 13, एक ऑफिसर 11 दर रैंक ऐसा नंबर था. एंड इट वाज एन अटैक बाय द यूनिट व्हिच हैड रिलीव्ड अस, कैप्टन चीमा. उन्होंने ये अटैक लीड किया था. इट वाज जस्ट 6 men who went in a very discreet manner. और जो रोप फिक्सिंग की थी वो हॉर्स के कैप्टन श्यामल सिन्हा थे. ही इज नो मोर नाउ. श्री राम उनकी आत्मा को सदगति दे. तो वो ही वाज एन एवरेस्टर आल्सो, एंड उन्होंने रोप फिक्स की थी उस अटैक के लिए ओवर अ सर्टेन पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. एंड देन they had launched a daytime attack, which was again a very daring feature. Colonel K.S. Singh, another accomplished mountaineer, तो वो उस यूनिट के सीओ थे, and he took a call on himself as a CO that I am going for a daytime attack and a silent attack. Now, meaning of silent attack is that you are having no fire support. Okay. You are not firing at the enemy to keep his head down. So what is happening is he is waiting for you. Let's say if he has seen it, you are at a big risk, you are in a very big risk zone. वो आपका वेट करेगा, because he is also a professional soldier. He is not some jittery guy. He is sitting there, and he is also from a professional army like Pakistan. They will also fight. Yes. So वो अगर उसने देख लिया आपको, आपकी असॉल्टिंग टीम को, तो वो वेट करेगा. आप जब उसके कंप्लीट किलिंग जोन में आ जाएंगे, तब वो अचानक फायर खोल के दे विल ब्रिंग अ डेड एंड टू एवरीथिंग. ऐसा जो कारगिल के कई अटैक्स में ऐसा हुआ है. So they wait for a person to get, the advancing forces believing that they have not been seen, या उनका अटैक छुपा हुआ है, वो लास्ट मिनट तक वेट करके suddenly they will launch simultaneous fire from all sides, and they will annihilate the attacking forces in any number. So this was a very daring, and वो जनरल के एस सिंह का इंटरव्यू अभी मैं देख रहा था. Now he retired as a general and later became the president of the Manipur Public Service Commission also after his retirement. तो ही वाज सेइंग कि वो हनुमान जी का दिन था, और जो 27 राजपूत के मंगलवार का दिन था, 27 जून 1999. सो दिस वाज व्हाट ही सेड कि हनुमान जी का दिन था, और हम हमारे जो ट्रूप्स हैं और हम सभी जो है वी बिलीव इन हिम, एंड दैट इज हाउ ही गिव अस द सक्सेस. बिकॉज ये बिल्कुल नियर इम्पॉसिबल टास्क था जी. इट वाज ह्यूमन बीइंग्स. हाँ, जो 5770, इट्स अ टावरिंग फीचर जी. इट्स अ क्लिफ लाइक 1000 फीट के करीब आपको रोप फिक्स करके, इट इज नियर वर्टिकल असॉल्ट. So it was a tremendous thing, and I think uska, in my personal view and in the views of many of us who know military actions, and जो उन्होंने ground पे जिन्होंने action of fire देखा हुआ है, वो कहते हैं ये PVC level का attack था. So Captain Chima को PVC मिलना चाहिए था, but he simply got a Sena Medal gallantry, which is about 4-5 degrees lower in the award. Right. लिविंग पीवीसी बहुत कम है. तो ये जो था, बिकॉज दीज पीपल आर टॉकिंग ऑनेस्टली, दे आर वेरी हम्बल एंड पोलाइट अबाउट व्हाट दे हैव डन. हाँ, इसमें एक बात जरूर होती है कि वो सक्सेस एक दिखती है, लेकिन इन सभी के पीछे इतने अनसंग लोग होते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ आई एम स्पीकिंग बिफोर यू अबाउट माई जर्नी, आप सोचिए वहां हमारे 5 जो 4 जवान और एक जेसीओ थे, वो दे 26 जनवरी की फायरिंग में 0.5770 से देवर दे बिकेम कैजुअलिटीज। तो लोगों के इतने बलिदान होते हैं, उनके बारे में आप बात भी नहीं कर सकते। तो आप ये सोच लीजिए कि हम किसी जिस सोल्जर के बारे में वी आर एबल टू सिंग हिज प्रेजेस, वी हैव हंड्रेड्स एंड थाउजेंड्स अननोन
which are unsung and unreported,
which are
unknown.
unsung. Yes, ma'am.
Unreported तो नहीं, but unknown. Yeah.
Unsung and basically recognized because they are not standing out, but they are silent. जो वो कहते हैं जो नींव का पत्थर रहता है वो दिखता नहीं, लेकिन उसी के ऊपर पूरी इमारत खड़ी होती है। तो कई जो हर अटैक ऑपरेशन की या हर बहुत गैलेंट फीट की जो इमारत होती है, उसके पीछे कुछ नींव के पत्थर होते हैं जो आपको दिखते ही नहीं। सो दिस इज
कुछ नींव के पत्थर ऐसे होते हैं जिनकी, मतलब जैसे आप बोल रहे हैं, ये नहीं दिखते हैं, ये हमें मालूम नहीं है इनकी स्टोरीज क्या है, वो नहीं है, बट कई हैं जो आगे बढ़ते बढ़ते भी रोक दिए जाते हैं या रुक जाते हैं, जो कि मुझे आपकी कहानी में दिखता है। तो
नहीं नहीं, आई
ऐसा
वुड नॉट
कैसे
से।
ऐसा कैसे वो स्टॉप कैसे आया, या वो शिफ्ट कैसे, वो चेंज कैसे हुआ? मतलब इतना एक वो चल रही थी आपकी एक कमांड वाली एक जर्नी, और यू वर लाइक ऑल आउट देयर, यू सेड दैट यू वर अ हाई परफॉर्मिंग कमा क्या क्या बोलेंगे, कैप्टन, मेज, यू वर योर
Major,
मेजर
yeah,
बाय दैट
major.
टाइम।
I was a field
यू
major
वर अ
because
मेजर बाय दैट
hardly with 6 years of service, I was doing the work of a major. A company is commanded by a major, so
टाइम।
like units because of deficiency of officers, because you would find that some officers are not fit to actually medically or otherwise they are not able to reach there by
राइट।
by default or design, they are not there in the field or hard areas. So what happens is that the younger and the junior officers, they are given a higher rank. So I was an acting major. I had the appointment of a company commander. That
ओके।
is how I was
तो
there. So,
तो
but I also feel that if we should not look at it as I said in the beginning, that when you talked about my NDA journey, it is not my journey alone. Similarly, what happened with me in the army in the end, and whether good or bad, I never say it was any bad this thing or
तो
there was any stoppage, because I believe that when God has to start a new journey, the destiny has to start a new journey for you, there has to be a stop. Then only you will switch from there. Otherwise, we have tendency to be, carry on with the status quo, that kind of thing. So this was, I take it as a very positive event, ultimately, in the sense that उसके पहले मैं आई वाज सिंगल एंड अ बैचलर, मेरा शादी करने का कोई इरादा नहीं था। देन आफ्टर आई गॉट मैरिड, आफ्टर माय ट्रायल, my wife is from this very place only where my trial was held. So ये कुछ positive चीजें भी हुई. Then I took to meditation and I could pursue it, because in my army journey I could not have been that regular with my meditative journey. And then I got drawn to what my horoscope actually suggests, that is the space research and into the nature sciences. So I am born in Shatabhisha Nakshatra, which I learnt later. The Shatabhisha is the only nakshatra which is naturally amenable to space research. And from my mother's side, Dr. Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar is my mother's grandfather kind. That is, मतलब मेरे mother के शायद वो जो चाचा वाले दादा होते हैं वो उनके थे. So it somehow it is there in the blood also, because you will find कि जैसे वो sort of there is a yearning for searching whatever the truth may be found around according to one's what limited capabilities. This is the basically, so I say that it is not a bad event because it triggered so many things which I could pursue later in life. And so when we look at my particular trial, it is not the it is for the army or the government to basically evaluate that a particular person who's doing these actions. See, I'm voluntarily there. If I had any inclination to avoid action or do any such thing, I wouldn't be there, repeatedly, because there are not many others. 3 बार सियाचन लोग नहीं चढ़ते। कई मेरे
सही
अपने
कहा।
यूनिट में तो इट्स अ गुड यूनिट एंड ऑल गुड ऑफिसर्स, बट बिकॉज ऑफ सर्कमस्टेंसेस दे आर नॉट एबल टू मेक इट देयर एवरी टाइम इनटू दैट repeatedly and to the maximum extent. Similarly, I rejoined from leave. Why would I rejoin from leave? क्या मुझे I had seen enough action. मेरी फील्ड की नौकरी नौकरी थी सारी. सो पीस में तो मैंने 3 या 4 साल नौकरी की है, बाकी 7-8 साल मेरी एक्टिव फील्ड है. वो ऐसे नहीं है कि बाद में आप सीनियर बन के व्हेन यू आर रीजनेबली बिहाइंड द एनिमी लाइन ऑफ फायर, वो नहीं थी. इट इज राइट ऑन द फ्रंट लाइन. So I knew what it means, to go into a war, what it means to fight over there. So मैं लीव से रिज्वाइन क्यों करूंगा? मेरी छुट्टी तो 20 जून तक थी, मैं 3 जून को क्यों पहुंच जाऊंगा? और जो बाकी ऑफिसर्स हैं वो बाद में आ रहे हैं, कुछ की लीव भी एक्सटेंड हुई. सो इट इज सेम इंफॉर्मेशन एवरीबडी इज गेटिंग इन द मीडिया एंड अदर थिंग्स. तो रिकॉल नोटिस के बिना मैं आया था. तो दैट आर्मी नीड्स टू समहाउ लुक इनटू दिस, बिकॉज माय एग्जांपल इज एक्चुअली it is not my example or the example. If you promote the wrong people, let's say ब्रिगेडियर देवेंद्र सिंह का प्रमोशन नहीं हुआ, तो लोग क्या सोचते हैं कि आप चाहे वॉर में कितना भी कमांड कर लो, कितनी भी गैलेंट्री दिखा लो, अल्टीमेटली जो लोग नेटवर्किंग करते हैं, जो लोग यू नो हु आर सकमिंग टू एवरीथिंग, बिकॉज इफ यू लुक एट द एग्जांपल ऑफ सैम मानेकशॉ. मैं अब आपको सीनियर लॉट की बात करता हूं कि उन्होंने 1971 में सॉर्ट ऑफ ही यूज्ड टू हैव हिज रेजिग्नेशन इन हिज पॉकेट व्हेन ही इज टेलिंग इंदिरा गांधी जी कि आई विल नॉट लॉन्च दिस अटैक नाउ बिकॉज माय ट्रूप्स आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड. और उन्होंने 6 महीने बाद अटैक किया. पॉलिटिकल मास्टर वांटेड कि इमीडिएटली करो. और हमने यहाँ क्या किया कि ब्रिगेडियर देवेंद्र सिंह जैसे लोग जो अटैक ऑपरेशन में उन्होंने दे वर गोइंग डेलिबरेटली कि हमको लेट अस स्टार्व द एनिमी, लेट अस यू नो स्क्वीज हिम, लेट अस क्लैंप हिम फर्स्ट, starve him of his supplies and replenishment. Let's keep on pounding him, and then when we move in for assault, it is a cakewalk for the assaulting troops. So that is where the brilliance of a general or a commander comes. कि वो
तो
अपने
इन्हीं से आप
ट्रूप्स के
मिले
लिए.
थे ना जब आप
हाँ.
अपने ट्रूप्स को लेके वापस आए थे, when you were saying you came back from the glacier, you walked 50
No,
plus
actually I
kilometers.
had resigned from leave. तो मेरे जो I said कि I am absolutely fine. It is my troops जो मेरे साथ भेजे गए उनको प्रीवियस इवनिंग उतारा गया था. एंड उसकी अगर आप देखेंगे कि जो 10 जून को ये ब्रिगेडियर देवेंद्र सिंह जिनके एरिया में फाइनली मैं गया था, उन्होंने 10 जून को चीफ साहब से बात हुई और 9 और 10 जून की रात को एक अटैक लॉन्च हुआ था जिसमें अगेन हिमाचल के ब्रेवहार्ट कैप्टन अमोल कालिया एंड उनके 14 जो साथी थे जवान, वो शहीद हो गए थे और उनकी डेड बॉडीज में ही पड़ी हुई थी ऑब्जेक्टिव के पास में, बिकॉज दे वर डे लाइटेड. तो इसमें होता यह कि आप लास्ट लाइट के बाद अटैक शुरू करते हैं ताकि एनिमी को एक तो आप दिखे ना और एम्ड फायर ना डल सके. So he may be just firing in the air and things like that, but he's not able to bring, pin down fire. लेकिन अगर आप daylight हो जाते हैं तो वो aimed fire लाता है, and then the chances of survival are almost zero. So this is when he's speaking of, but this body of troops was moved on 8th June itself. The warning order was given on 8th June. To move them down. So they come down, some on 8th June evening, some on 9th June, June evening 99, and 10th June we are told to move, and troops are told कि you are going to rear area. तो उनके पास जो नॉन ऑटोमेटिक वेपन्स हैं SLR, बिकॉज इन ग्लेशियर यू आर इन अ डिफेंसिव रोल. फॉर अटैकिंग रोल इन माउंटेन्स यू रिक्वायर अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ वेपनरी विच इज ammunition is lightweight, it is able to fire burst fire, it is easy to carry because SLR की लेंथ भी ज्यादा होती है एंड उसका एमिनिशन भारी होता है. अगर आपने 20 मैगजीन उठानी तो कुछ किलो का फर्क पड़ जाएगा because you require those many rounds of fire and then it fires only single shot. Then we had the weapon we had was 1970 vintage, 29 साल पुराना था जो बैकलोड होना था कि it is now no more serviceable and it should be backloaded. So but these are all military aspects. in overall theme ये है कि इसकी अब इन चीजों को एक लेमैन समझ रहा है. जैसे आप देखेंगे कि जो वाद के ऊपर मेरा पॉडकास्ट है उसके 4 लाख के करीब व्यूज हैं एंड इट इज ऑगमेंटिंग इन 3 वीक्स में इट हैज क्रॉस 4 लाख व्यूज. So people are actually watching that and they are able to understand what is happening. And the question is कि why our military commanders decided not to understand this point.
What do you think is the reason?
I think they were ऐसा नहीं है कि उनमें से सारे लोग ऐसा नहीं है कि वो लोग देश विरोधी थे, ऐसा कुछ है. That I never question to anyone who's wearing the uniform. उसकी लॉयल्टी होती है, देश के प्रति होती है, अपनी यूनिट के प्रति होती है. होता यह है कि वो नो एरर सिंड्रोम में चले जाते हैं और जब ये हो रहा होता है तो उनको लगा कि एक आइसोलेटेड इंसिडेंट, लेट अस कीप क्वाइट, लीस्ट रियलाइजिंग. लेकिन इनमें से जो एक पर्सनालिटी है मेजर जनरल बधवार, आई एम नेमिंग हिम बिकॉज आई फील ही इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर मच ऑफ द ब्लडशेड व्हिच हैपेंड विद अस फॉर द रीजन दैट उन्होंने ये जो इंफॉर्मेशन थी जनवरी में, ये मेरे सीईओ का स्टेटमेंट है ट्रायल में ड्यूरिंग द समरी ऑफ एविडेंस की he had reported this to brigade commander, then brigade commander and GOC Major General Badwar. So there are traces that Major General Badwar had this information. And recently there is a interview of Colonel K.S. Singh, later Lieutenant General K.S. Singh, whom I've referred to earlier also. So उनका जो इंटरव्यू है वो ये कहता है कि मार्च में वो एक हेलीकॉप्टर रेकी पे, आप इमेजिन कीजिए 2 पायलट्स हैं और 2 ऑफिसर्स रेकी के लिए जा रहे हैं, मेजर जनरल बधवार, उनके साथ कर्नल के.एस. सिंह, देन कर्नल के.एस. सिंह. So he says we spotted the enemy footprints along with Major General Badwar GOC in March 99 in Mashko Valley, and they also possibly saw a Pakistani army regular in their SSG uniform में. The moment he heard the helicopter's noise, पहले वो देखने आया कि ये मतलब पाकिस्तानी हेलीकॉप्टर. Once he realized कि it is not Pakistani helicopter, he moved into the cover. But this man was spotted. So, and then General Badar keeps quiet about it. इसके अलावा कैप्टन सौरभ कालिया की डायरी है जिसमें 5 फरवरी से लेके 29 मार्च तक की रेगुलर फायरिंग की रिपोर्ट्स हैं with weapons as big as AD guns, air defense guns, and he is reporting fire that there is unprecedented fire. There's very heavy fire. God bless that young braveheart, Captain Saurabh Kalia, जिनके नाम से I swear by his name, what a man. So उनकी जो डायरी है उनके खुद के हाथ की लिखी हुई, जाहिर सी बात है वो लिख रहे हैं, वो रिपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, तो ये किस हेडक्वार्टर पे जाके रुक रही हैं ये रिपोर्ट्स, और वो कौन सा ऐसा हेडक्वार्टर है या कौन सा ऐसा जनरल या जीओसी है जो इन रिपोर्ट्स को मिलने के बावजूद 0.5770 से मिल रही है कैप्टन कालिया की डायरी में, और वो मार्च एंड में खुद एनिमी फुटप्रिंट्स और एनिमी को देख के आ रहे हैं कि एंड देन ही कीप्स क्वाइट अबाउट इट. And you have people briefing the attacking troops कि जाओ चढ़ जाओ, 4-5 मिलिटेंट हैं, उनको बोरियों में बांध के ले आना टाइप. These kind of orders they are passing, forgetting all army tactics. क्योंकि आर्मी के अंदर जो अटैक ऑपरेशन ऑफ वॉर होता है वो पूरी प्रिपरेशन के साथ होता है. मान लीजिए मैं अपने पोस्ट पे बैठा हुआ हूँ और एनिमी का अटैक आ गया, ही चूजेस द टाइम, तो मेरे पास जो है उसको लेके मैं लड़ूंगा. अगर मैं हथियार तक नहीं पहुंच पाया, मेरे हाथ कोई डंडा लग गया, मैं उसी को लेके लड़ूंगा उससे, बिकॉज आई हैव टू डिफेंड, बिकॉज एनिमी हैज चोजन द टाइम. आई कांट कंट्रोल टाइम. अगर मैं अपने हथियार तक नहीं पहुंच पाया, तभी हम लोग पोस्टों में हथियार को लाइक वी हग द वेपन एंड स्लीप काइंड ऑफ थिंग, एंड एवरीथिंग इज की एनी टाइम एनीथिंग कैन हैपन. सो यू इमेजिन, बट व्हेन यू आर अटैकिंग, यू आर एक्चुअली, हमारे जो कमांडर्स और जनरल्स की स्ट्रेटेजी उस समय रही वो ये रही कि बस चढ़ जाओ. मतलब व्हेन एनिमी इज बेस्ट प्रिपेयर्ड टू एनिहिलेट यू, दैट इज द टाइम दे आर लॉन्चिंग अटैक्स without softening of the target, without going deliberately about it, without giving time टू द कमांडर. और जिसने उस रूट को चल के जाना है उसको रेकी करने दीजिए, उसको असेस करने दीजिए कहाँ कहाँ ऑटोमेटिक्स लगी हैं, क्या साइटिंग है, ताकि उसकी लाइन ऑफ फायर से बचा जा सके. बिकॉज वी ऑल नो व्हाट इज द रेंज ऑफ एनिमी. यूएमजी होती है उनके पास, उनकी उसकी एमएमजी की क्या रेंज है, उसकी एडी गन की क्या रेंज है. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स वी आर टॉट इन वेरियस कोर्सेज एंड वी नो कि व्हाट काइंड ऑफ रेंज ऑफ फायर इज देयर, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ फील्ड ऑफ फायर इज देयर, एंड जो टेरेन है वो कैसी है, उसके बीच में हम कैसे कवर लेके अपने बंदों को ले जाएंगे. वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई, बिकॉज वी आर मूविंग इन डार्क ऑन एन अननोन रूट. आप कंपास बेरिंग पे नहीं चल सकते. सो यू हैव टू सिलेक्ट, एंड देन एवरी फोल्ड, माउंटेन्स हैव फोल्ड्स, देयर आर फॉल्स क्रस्ट. आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि आप पहुंचेंगे तो वो विजिबिलिटी खत्म हो जाएगी. यू वुड फाइंड कि जो सामने दिख रहा है यही पीक है, और जब आप वहां तक पहुंचेंगे तो आपको दूसरी पीक दिखेगी, दूसरी के बाद तीसरी दिखेगी. So somebody who's walked on ground, that means कि somehow we had the generals and commanders who had never walked on ground themselves, let alone with the enemy and this thing. तो वो सिर्फ that is why I have some bit of prejudice against purely academicians जो सिर्फ किताबों में ही रहते हैं, theory में रहते हैं, because practical world is much different.
Definitely.
So this is an officer we are trying to find a merger of theory and practical work. So somebody who's not experienced it as a young officer, how can you promote him to general? And यहाँ तो young officer छोड़िए कि जो ब्रिगेडियर देवेंद्र सिंह जैसे लोगों को उन्होंने प्रमोट नहीं किया. लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल अमोल अस्थाना, CO 111 GR, जिनके अंडर में बाद में ऑफ कोर्स अनदर CO केम, तो उनके अंडर में इतना एक्शन हुआ, वो ही नेवर रोज बियॉन्ड ब्रिगेडियर. ब्रिगेडियर कुशाल ठाकुर नेवर बिकेम अ मेजर जनरल. आप ये सब नाम देखिए ना, और बने कौन. एंड नाउ आई ऑल्सो सी, दो आई हैव नो पर्सनल ग्रीवेंसेस अगेंस्ट, अब जो आप देखेंगे कि 8 माउंटेन डिव के जीओसी इज सन ऑफ जनरल मलिक. ही नेवर टुक पार्ट, ही वाज अ यंग मेजर ड्यूरिंग कारगिल, शायद हमसे 1 आध साल सीनियर हैं वो. So he was never, where was he during the war, and why is he there excluding all others who took part in the war? So this is something we need to address, that we can't army is a very serious business. Every system will collapse. जो आप देखते हैं ना कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जो इमारत की नींव है, उसमें मेटाफोरिकली यू विल फाइंड कि उसमें सोल्जर का खून है. सोल्जर का खून प्रेसिडेंट हाउस में है, सोल्जर का खून आपको पीएमओ की नींव में मिलेगा, हर जगह मिलेगा आपको. क्योंकि अगर वो नहीं होगा तो वो होता है जो पार्लियामेंट अटैक हुआ, जो बॉम्बे में ताज में हुआ. तो आप चाहें वर्ल्ड ट्रेड सेंटर में अगर अटैक हुआ तो वो चीज होगी अगर आपकी आर्मी को आप अपने डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म को वीकन कर देंगे. So you have to be very honest with the army. You have to promote honesty in the army. You have to, nurture your army. And
सबसे ज्यादा तो ये मोराल को कम करेगा.
with hostile neighbors like Pakistan or China, all around we have such jewels. You see that we have to stay on our toes always. And who's meeting them first? Who's thwarting their designs? Who's actually annihilating their game plan? It is all your army is doing it. Without, how will you do so? How can you have in such a sensitive area somebody who's not a person like Major General Badwar? I don't know his military background, whether what experience he had of field area and in what manner. There are officers in the army who simply pass their younger days up to 12-13 साल की नौकरी जो है वो एक पी स्टेशन से दूसरा या ट्रेनिंग एस्टेब्लिशमेंट जस्ट नाम के लिए आएंगे किसी ऐसी फील्ड में जहां कॉम्प्लेक्स कमांडर का या जो कंपनी कमांडर का बेस है वो नीचे होगा, not as active as it should be. या काउंटर इंसर्जेंसी में दे विल रिमेन प्रोटेक्टेड कि यूनिट तो पोस्टेड है तो मेडल तो सबको मिलेगा, लेकिन वो बंदा एडजुटेंट बैठा हुआ है या क्वार्टर मास्टर बैठा हुआ है. दीज आर द अपॉइंटमेंट्स व्हिच रिमेन इन हेडक्वार्टर्स ओनली. दे डोंट गो फॉर फील्ड ड्यूटीज. So then you have to actually, why we are not scrutinizing to this level? Why we are simply looking at paper and deciding things? आप मेरे से अगर आज कोई पूछे तो कि आप मुझसे पूछ रहे हैं, इतने सारे पॉडकास्टर हैं वो पूछ रहे हैं, क्या किसी आर्मी जनरल ने कभी मुझसे पूछा एज अ दिस थिंग कि यार हुआ क्या था वहां पे?
नहीं पूछा आपसे.
Nobody has asked me till date. और जो रिकॉर्ड होता है वो मैं अगर आपको दिखाऊंगा तो वो करीब 4000 वर्ड्स की पोथी बन जाती है, क्योंकि उसमें तो बिकॉज वो होता है ना बुद्धू का बस्ता भारी. बुद्धू का बस्ता भारी क्यों होता है? क्योंकि वो कम चीजों में सीख ही नहीं पाता. उसको जो है अगर 10वीं में आ गया है उसको टेबल ही याद नहीं है तो वो अपने बस्ते में 1 से 20 तक की टेबल भी रख के घूमेगा कि गणित करना पड़ेगा तो टेबल भी यूज होगी. सो देयर बेसिक्स आर रॉन्ग एक्चुअली. दिस इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, इट इज अ वेरी सीरियस थिंग पीपल आर नॉट रियलाइजिंग. So this is so much about the army if you want to.
तो फिर हुआ क्या उसके बाद, मतलब
उसके बाद actually when I with this body of troops तो हम बटालिक एरिया में पहुंचे और while we were inducting, क्योंकि जब यूनिट से मैं मूव किया तो 100 किलो का अनाज का वो जैसे आटे का बैग है, राशन है हमारा. सो सोचने को हम सेल्फ कंटेंट है, लेकिन अब मैं आपको बोलूं कि आप वैष्णो देवी यात्रा पे जा रही हैं, ये राजी आटे का बैग आप ले जाइए.
कैसे लेके जाते हैं ये ट्रूप्स?
हाँ,
अपने साथ लेके जाते हैं?
ब्रेक इट डाउन. ये एक्चुअली होता क्या है कि हम एक कुक हाउस एस्टेब्लिश करते हैं कंपनी लेवल पे और उसमें हम देन इट इज मैनपैक बेसिस पे, इट इज स्टेज फॉरवर्ड. पहले हम राशन को पूरा करते हैं. जब हमारे पास 10-15 दिन का राशन हो जाता है, ये नहीं कि हम 100 के 100 बंदे पहले ही पहुंच गए. फर्स्ट वी विल, क्योंकि 100 बंदे नीचे खाते रहे ना, जब उनके खाने के लिए स्टॉकिंग हो जाए वो जाते हैं नीचे खाते हैं और डेली राशन पहुंचाते हैं, ऊपर एम्यूनिशन पहुंचाते हैं, स्टॉकिंग करते हैं. क्योंकि अगर पर मैन लेट्स से अगर मुझे 10 टन लोड उठाना है फ्रॉम द बेस ऑफ रोड हेड टू द माउंटेन, आई वुड ब्रेक इट डाउन कि मैं इतने दिन में मेरे इतने बंदे हैं, इतने फेरे डेली लगाएंगे इतने बंदे, और वो ऐसे ऐसे लोड लेके जाएंगे, इतना एम्यूनिशन, इतना राशन, इतना केरोसिन या जो भी चीज चाहिए, तो उस हिसाब से हम स्टॉक करके बिल्ड करते हैं. अच्छा, अब इसमें क्या है कि मेरी आधी प्लाटून रास्ते में पड़ी है और हम फास्टेस्ट वे में जो है हम लगभग 1.5-2 दिन का उस समय जो ट्रेवल होता था टू द बेस ऑफ 0.5203, वहां हम पहुंचे. और दैट इज माई सेल्फ एंड अ प्लाटून ऑफ माइन. अबाउट प्लाटून भी क्या कहें, हमारे मेरे पास टोटल 80 आदमी थे. मैं इसलिए 80 आदमी बोलता हूँ, आई डोंट कॉल इट अ कंपनी ऑल्सो, बिकॉज उसमें कोई 4 आदमी किसी और लौट के हैं, 4 कहीं और के हैं, 5 कहीं और के हैं, 10 कहीं और के हैं, कोई बाय ट्रेडमैन स्वीपर है, कोई बार्बर है, वो भी साथ में. दे आर कॉम्पिटेंट्स बट दे आर नॉट एज स्किल्ड एंड स्पेशलाइज. अब आप मुझे भले ही अब एमएमजी दे दें, तो वो जिस बंदे ने the person who's not fired MMG in life, how would he know? How would he deploy it? How would he aim and shoot? And my weapons are zeroed at Siachen heights. So I need to zero them. I am having SLR, single shot. I am not given INSAS, which I demanded prior to the move. So then I landed up there. And ये इसमें आप देखिए कि हमें जो मेरे ट्रूप्स थे उनको 9 जून को ही उतार दिया गया था. और 10 जून को जिस एरिया में हमें मूव किया गया वहां पे चीफ साहब आए थे, मलिक साहब, और उन्होंने ब्रिगेडियर देवेंद्र सिंह से बात की थी. जनरल बदवार वाज आल्सो प्रेजेंट कि इनको यू नीड टू गिव हिम फ्रेश एंड मोटिवेटेड ट्रूप्स, बिकॉज यहाँ टाइम प्लान मीट नहीं हो पा रहे हैं विद द ट्रूप्स हु आर एग्जॉस्टेड और नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड फुल्ली. तो उन्होंने मांगे फ्रेश एंड मोटिवेटेड ट्रूप्स और उनको दिए क्या हमारी ये कंपनी, और उनको बताया भी नहीं. सो व्हेन आई एम प्रेजेंट देयर बिफोर हिम ऑन 14th of June, एक मेरी प्लाटून रास्ते में ही पड़ी हुई है, अंडर एनिमी फायर चला हुआ है. वहां काफी कैजुअलिटीज होती थी. तो थ्रू दैट फायर वी आर मूविंग एंड बंदों की हालत टोटली खराब हो चुकी, उनके टोनेल में ब्लड क्लॉट्स आ गए थे, नीज आर गिवन. सो दो वी आर ऑल कमांडोज, बट आप देखिए कि वो जो उनकी फिजिकल कंडीशन है इमीडिएट, दे विल टेक सम टाइम, दे विल नीड सम टाइम ऑब्वियसली. एंड देन इट इज नॉट कि मतलब जैसे इंट्रूजन शुरू में हुआ था तो अचानक पता लगा, आपको लगा कि हम तुरंत जाएं और कंटेन कर दें उसको, जैसे भी हो जल्दी जाओ और उनको रोको. दिस इज नॉट द केस. द एनिमी जो है वो ऑपरेशन शुरू हो चुके, 1 महीना हो चुका है, और 1 महीने में आपके पास हमारी 1 मिलियन स्ट्रॉन्ग आर्मी है. व्हाट इज द नीड फॉर यू, व्हाट इज द नेसेसिटी फॉर यू टू ब्रिंग सियाचिन ट्रूप्स, जिनका टर्म खत्म हो चुका है. एंड एज पर आर्मी टीचिंग, दे आर नॉट सपोज टू बी रीयूज्ड इन हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड फॉर नेक्स्ट 10 years at least, and never in
That
Siachen.
long.
Yeah, it is a rule in the army as per the medical procedures.
10 years.
10 years minimum, they cannot be reused in the high altitude, and Siachen, they cannot be reused ever in their life again. They are not supposed to be used. They are expected to retire. And once that generation of soldiers who served in Siachen has retired, then only the next posting of that unit move will come to Siachen. So we are violating all norms, all medical norms, all kind of physiology norms, which are created by the army over its experience of 15 years since 84. We are at 99. So 15 years of experience, and then these rules and policies have come up, and we are violating all of them, and nobody is asking a single question. The first question which should be asked before you, who ordered the move of these troops? And why did they not inform Brigadier Devinder saying that we are giving you these troops which have walked 20 to 55 kilometers the previous evening?
Entire.
Just to give you a scale, 20 to 55 kilometers means climbing up Amarnath Ji 3 times. And then somebody is telling you ki here is the, and you are allotting that kind of body of troops to command. I don't know what they were playing around with. I fail to understand why this kind of, and nobody asked them. Nobody asked General Badwar. He came at my trial as a court witness. Nobody asked him that why did you move? What compelling reasons you had to order move of these troops?
I'm wondering, should you be the one under trial or should he be the one under trial?
Actually, now I see. This is what I prayed at the trial also, that sir, these generals need to be investigated. The people who are playing around with lives, precious lives. आप सोचिए कि एक soldier की एज अ लेडी यू वुड डेफिनेटली अंडरस्टैंड मैम कि एक परिवार जो होता है उसके लिए, जो हमारा एक सैनिक होता है वो अकेला नहीं होता, उसके साथ परिवार होता है, उसके बच्चे होते हैं. अगर हम नेशनल ड्यूटी में, इफ यू आस्क मी एज अ मेजर कि यू ऑर्डर हिम टू, एंड ही विल गिव हिज लाइफ फॉर माय वर्ड, if I am worth my salt, he will give, my men will give life for me. But look at the burden on my conscience, that my dear one who has, they might have protected my life many times. I might have, such an association besides all other things. And how will I, order them as an officer into the mouth of certain death when I see कि ना मेरे देश का कोई भला होना है. वो ऑब्जेक्टिव भी जितनी बार एनिमी का अटैक वो फेल करता है, उसका मोरल उतना ऊपर होता है कि हमारे सामने कुछ आ जाए हम ठोक देंगे. इट्स लाइक दैट विनिंग टीम ना, उसने एक अटैक वो झेल चुका था, कैप्टन अमोल कालिया का, एंड दे हैड डिफीटेड दैट अटैक. Those brave men, their even dead bodies he was not allowing us to take out en route to this point 5203. And then, so there is, हम लोग क्या है कि the biggest fallacy of our system is कि once somebody reaches a particular position, he becomes beyond accountability, beyond questioning. We create gods out of them. This is the biggest pitfall. So now we'll continue with that. So once I reached there, 14 June 99, I am face to face with Brigadier Devinder Singh with half my men down below. I am having no stocking of ammunition, ration, etc. The cookhouse is below. वहां पे अगले जो 4 दिन मैं वहां था. So that supply used to come in. वो बोरियों में नीचे पूरी बनेंगी, वो बोरियों में बंदा उठा के ले आएगा. They will become like पापड़. कई बार 2 दिन की इकट्ठी आ जाएगी. You dip it in water and eat. So पापड़ ये है कि इंडियन फौजी कभी शिकायत नहीं करता. आप लोगों को ये बाहर people don't even get to know. They only look at army lifestyle कि वो जनरल साहब golf is playing golf, कि वहाँ war चल रहा है and श्रीनगर में golf चल रहा है. That is what they see and create an impression कि army is having fun. It's not that. There is a a big wall is there across which the world is totally different. So here we are living in these conditions, and in headquarters we heard people are playing golf or making zoo, etc., whatever. So there is a total disconnect.
You mean a
General
real
Badwar was
zoo?
making a zoo. That is how we had the depletion of border posts. वहां से troops withdraw किए गए थे, because obviously it takes efforts. If you did direct a unit of a GOC is ordering that I want wild animals for making a zoo in Leh.
Zoo where? Leh.
In Leh. Because these are all peacetime activities with which the generals try to enhance their career. Is it your job? Are you forest department? Who are you? Or they will create a horticulture garden which is pleasing to the eyes of the VIP visiting it, and then he'll say, General Saab, well done, you are a great this thing. And this is how that is how you annihilate the army bit by bit. Somebody should ask, the visiting politician should ask, is it your job to create a zoo or to protect the borders? And why your men are deployed over here in
This is
places
peak
in...
wartime.
Pardon, ma'am?
Peak wartime.
No, this is run up to the war as well as the peak time, peak war time.
Yeah.
Because there is no change in their activities, the way they are living, the kind of things which are happening, typical peacetime activities. So then now on 14 June, when I speak to him, he briefs me about it, as every commander is supposed to, that, what is his plan. So he says it is crucial for me to secure this objective at the earliest. And however, it is very important that you guys are not daylighted. Anybody who's attacking should not be daylighted. So then I tell him that, sir, look at this is the condition of my troops. So what you are thinking, in my assessment, 9,000 feet say objective is about, जो हम जहाँ पे बैठे थे वो 9 से 10,000 फुट था, वैली फ्लोर था, river बहती थी, and riverlet बहती थी, and the peak, the objective, suggested objective, that was about 5203 would be about 17,000 feet. So climbing, an ascent of 6 to 7,000 feet with these kind of troops in a multi-pronged attack that everybody is left, and what is happening is I don't even know who the JCUs, they've never served with me, the men have never served with me. So you simply present people with SLR, like, तो वो होता है ना कि अचानक से अटैक आ जाता है तो वो विलेज हेडमैन बोलता है कि ये डंडा लो, तुम हसिया ले लो, तुम ये ले लो. Nobody knows whether you know how to use it or not. So I give the example of, there's a movie called 300, and that their commander says that my 300 are stronger than 6,000 otherwise. So because you need a cohesive unit to fight, you need person who's fired that weapon in peacetime, practiced it, then only, and trained on it, then only he can fire in wartime, because that is the ultimate test. And then so when he's speaking, I apprise him of the situation. He says, yeah, this is, I don't think this is going to work out. I need fresh and motivated troops. So I said, sir, this is the condition of the troops. He says that मैंने तो GOC से and chief से fresh and motivated troops मांगे थे, physically fit troops मांगे थे. So I will have to refer this matter back to General Badwar. So I said, so fine, that's fair enough. Because what I've apprised you is the actual position. My balance of the platoon is yet to come up. So next day, General Badwar comes, he talks to me, and I apprise him of the situation as did to Brigadier Devinder Singh, sir, this is the condition of troops. And I tell him specifically, however, if ordered, we will go for any task.
And you've had direct interactions.
Direct interaction with Major General Badwar. I tell him this. And later, and after that, our task is changed. Okay, fine, you are not able to launch attack. Please go across the enemy lines towards LC through the valley, and on the sides there are enemy positions. You go down and lay ambush so that the supply lines are cut off and you assault those. So we go and carry out that task. On 18 June, suddenly my CO comes in a helicopter and he tells me to move down forthwith. And then I ask him, sir, what has happened? So inexplicably, he tells me to move down. He says, no, you simply move down and we'll address this issue later. I said, sir, what has happened? So he tells me to move down. So I come down with my weapon and my pittu, rucksack. So niche, just 4-5 kilometers down, I come down, and from there I try to contact. So some supply lines bhi nahi the, so I am able to make it to Brigadier Devinder Singh. And I tell him, sir, why I have been removed from this scenario, and मैं तो volunteer हूँ, and I have come for this purpose only, for fighting this war. Why I have been removed? So he says, okay, let me talk to your CO. And this is that when the attack on 5203 is yet to go. 2 days later, they pick a few, they are able to pick up just a few men from that body of troops which had come with me, and बाकी वो सब करते हैं, इंसास rifle arrange करते हैं वहां पे. And with that इंसास rifle and totally changed company and JCO वगैरह भी जो मेरे साथ आए थे वो भी नहीं, उनमें से शायद एक गया या नहीं गया वो भी. So that is how the attack is launched by 4 companies. It's made a battalion level attack, and then the objective is cleared. And this is on 20th and 21st June night. And in the meantime, I am down. I am waiting for Brigadier Devinder Singh to come back and participate in the, but they kept me there and they did not allow me. They means Colonel Srivastav basically, because now he is my CO actually. So with this, and then later on, they start an inquiry in which General Badwar is also the convening authority and a witness. So you
Inquiry
imagine
for what?
court of inquiry for they had charged me that you have disobeyed the lawful command by given by Brigadier Devinder Singh. Whereas he never said that he never gave any command, and he testified in all proceedings. There are four staged proceedings. There is court of inquiry, then there was one summary of evidence, there was another summary of evidence, and then at the trial. Up to the trial, he has never ever once said that I ordered Major Bhatnagar to attack point 5203, and they make a charge out of it.
But for what?
The
What
averment of the
what
charge, the averment of the charge. That is why I sing glories of JAG branch, जो army की JAG branch है. They are all law qualified officers. They are supposed to be law qualified and ensuring justice in the army. So उनकी जो charge वो बनाते हैं, when ordered by Brigadier Devinder Singh to attack point 5203 on 15 June 99, disobeyed his lawful command by stating that he himself, his company are unfit for an attack operation. This is the averment of the charge. And Brigadier Devinder Singh has never told in any inquiry that I ordered Major Bhatnagar to attack point 5203. He specifically denies it. We cross-examined him at the trial, and the first prosecution witness, Brigadier Devinder Singh, he comes and says that I did not order Major Manish Bhatnagar to attack point 5203. He also confirms that the condition of truce was bad. Every witness confirms it.
When was the trial happening?
Trial happened in 2001.
Okay, so could this be the reason that he was not promoted further on?
I can't really comment on that. Probably because he was earlier also. There's another instance in which the higher headquarters, General Badwar and General Kishan Pal, they were forcing Captain Manoj Pandey, 111 GR, and the CO Lieutenant Colonel Amol Astana to attack a particular position. And they were telling that, sir, this is the chances of success are not even 1%. So we are right there. So we don't want to lead men into the certain death for nothing. So then they were pressurizing him from top. No, you tell him this attack has to go or there will be a proceeding against them, court martial and things like that. So that time Brigadier Devinder Singh took it upon himself that, sir, I have called off this attack. And since he was a commander, so, reasonably higher position, and he's taking the responsibility of somebody below him, so he can well do it because वो एक buffer हो जाता है. So he took it upon himself. नहीं तो Captain Pandey, PVC, उनका भी trial हो चुका होता, GCM हो चुका होता. So this is what we have performed. Our few handful of people. So आप जो bravery देखते हैं ना, hundreds and thousands की, उसके पीछे ये लोग भी हैं जो, which is the flip side of the Indian Army and the operations. And ये सब छुपते हैं. It is not Indian Army. I'm sorry to say name Indian Army. These are handful of people who are black sheep who are spoiling, the entire good motto and hard work of so many people in the army. क्योंकि आप बाहर वालों को तो ये they will sooner or later they come to know.
पर इनका होता क्या कुछ भी नहीं, right?
हाँ, that is our weakness as a democracy. तो ऐसे कि बाकी का तो पता नहीं, but at least the profession of arms जिसके ऊपर पूरा देश चलता है, अगर वो ना हो तो आप शायद पाकिस्तान मेरे ख्याल से महीना भी नहीं लगाएगा और वो दिल्ली में पहुंच के जो उन्होंने करना वो कर रहे होंगे. You just remove the Indian army. So this is, and we are now tampering with this kind of setup. So this is the. So then he comes, and then another ironic thing is that this particular statement, Captain Bisht is present when I tell Major General Badwar, if ordered, we will go for any task. When I'm making this statement, that means there is no order to me. And when I ask him at the trial and General Badwar as a court witness that did you give any order? He says, no, I did not give. Brigadier Devinder Singh has himself testified that 15 June ko when General Badwar was not present. So he says, I only approached Major General Badwar to say that why didn't you give me fit troops? I am more concerned about operations. You give me any troops who are physically fit, fresh and motivated. And why? So he was raising that concern, which they turned into, disobedience of lawful command, as if I have disobeyed something. And when General Badwar comes, we clarify with him that did you order? Did Brigadier Devinder Singh has testified? Major General Badwar says no, I did not order. And then I also cross-examine, didn't I tell you that if ordered, we will go for any task? He says, oh no, Major Bhatnagar did not tell me. And that was a false statement on oath. For which immediately in the court I call him out as an accused. I call him out with this. He's a slimy and a liar general, and it makes it to the headlines in Asian Age. Major calls Major General slimy liar, and they don't take any action against me. It's a big statement if I'm a serving Major General. A major is telling a serving Major General right in his face in a
And what
military
is the
court
reason? What is the reason that they did not
because
take any action?
because he was lying actually. You look at it. There is one
उनको
Captain
सेफ
Best.
गार्ड करने के लिए, उनको प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए आपके ऊपर कोई एक्शन नहीं लिया
हाँ,
आपकी
हाँ,
स्टेटमेंट पे।
yes, yes, yes. So then he should have actually been charged for perjury, and I should have been given a complete clean acquittal at the trial itself, if you look at it in an unbiased way. Because if there is no evidence at all against me, I gave no statement at the trial because I didn't have to. Everything that my contention was brought out by the witnesses, prosecution witnesses themselves.
So were you fighting your own case?
Yeah, in between I was fighting my own case, though I joined law after leaving the army. And otherwise, I had a good counsel, Captain Rajneesh Bansal, who later on also became elevated to the judgeship. So he was my counsel, and even he used to feel very, very awkward with things.
Strange sequence or chain of events, and strange is the way how such a promising career, at least in the army, where somebody is voluntarily there to serve the nation, to be on the front, to fight.
No, I'm not alone. You see, I'm not alone. There are hundreds like me. There's no
Precisely.
exception.
We get to know
But
because of
what my example becomes that this is how you treat if somebody who's a willing worker. There are hundreds of them. Nothing specialty about me. आपको
agree.
फौज में ऐसे ऐसे ग्रेड्स मिलेंगे कि you would forget my name. But how you are treating to one such person, somebody who's one amongst them, and what for what reason you are doing it? That is a question, and nobody looks at it. The successive chiefs also don't look at it. The CDS also don't look at it. And then you keep crying कि वो कारगिल इसलिए हुआ कि because वो सी integrated command नहीं थे. They are hiding the fact that somebody, your own major is reporting, your own Captain Saurabh Kalia is reporting, your own GOC is seeing with his own eyes and still not acting on that information. So do you expect that Pakistani will send a DO letter, chief will send कि dear General Chief of Indian Army, I am sending those many troops at so many locations, please prepare for the war. And come and fight us. Do you expect this letter? Who are the eyes of the army right there? Your former troops are your eyes.
Exactly.
And we are doing our job. And even I have served a legal notice to General Malik when he's scripted in his book. He has blamed it on junior commanders that they were not carrying out surveillance in winters and they had vacated. So I've served a notice on him that you can't blame the junior officers. They are serving with their blood, sweat, and tears, and they are doing their duties fully. You are totally quiet. General Malik is quiet even today. I've served him a legal notice.
How long back?
I served him on 3rd or 7th of July.
This
2024. When he made this statement in public, he gave an interview to India Today, to NDTV or something. So the moment I saw, within 2 days, I had drafted this notice and sent it to him. That, sir, how can you say so? How can you blame junior officers? They are the ones who have won the day for you. And what are they fighting for? They are fighting for their self-respect. We are not even कि carriers like you कि अगर आपको young age में आप गैलेंट्री सीरीज नहीं जीत पाए तो आपने युद्ध सेवा मेडल जीतने के लिए जिसपे कई स्टेट गवर्नमेंट जमीनें देती हैं. So a lot of generals are after युद्ध series medals. They did not give a youth series medal to Brigadier Devendra Singh, who fought the entire war right at the front, and they gave it to somebody sitting in Srinagar Corps Headquarters, Major General Kishan Pal, and the army commander. So this Yuddha Seva series of medals, UYSM, Yuddha Seva medal, being given to generals and above, major generals and above, is a total. It's a total fallacy. It's a total hoax. This is basically, you are doing this so that they are out of that greed. They are compromising their troops. They are compromising whatever. This is a big statement, I know, but this is going to make our army a better army. If we remove this, because on that, the state governments will give. They have a fixed policy. If somebody who's a MVC, Mahavir Chakra, we'll give him 3 acres of land or 4 acres or different quantity, different state governments. So these people are chasing that government land and yearning for that Yuddha Seva series, which they could not earn with their bravery on the ground while they were up to the rank of majors or even lieutenant colonels or colonels.
What do you think governs all this? Is it bureaucracy? Is it what? What is the reason that there is less focus on what is happening on the front and more focus on what is happening behind closed doors in these.
Actually, our system has gone wrong, in which we have started promoting incompetence, because normally you see the people who are competent and who are honest and who work on the ground, they are not scared of anyone. So they'll speak their mind, as did General Sam Manekshaw. And why he could as a chief? Because he had taken bullets as a young officer. And he knew what it stands, what it means to stand for your men. क्योंकि उनका जो the buddy, he had carried him 18 kilometers on his shoulders in war after he was shot. So because these people are our systems are, our promotion procedures are such that we have academic courses like on the military subjects, people performing well in that, and then ACR on top of that. The deciding factor is ACR, how your immediate superior is grading you. So let's say if I'm networking well with my immediate superior, and there is so much of emphasis on it. They never look at, while they are promoting a person from brigadier to major general, they are not looking at his field tenures. They are not looking at his, service as a young officer. If I have the right eye, if I'm sitting as in the promotion board, so I would, मान लीजिए, if I'm at a junior level, if I'm sitting in a board for promotion to Nayak to Havaldar, I would always look at where was his unit and where was he at that time. Did he go on extra regimental employment when it was time to serve the unit? For example, my own case, my file should be looked at, that when the unit was going to Siachen, did I yearn to move out for ADC to president? The posting is there in black and white.
Yeah.
The posting order is there. So similarly, you look at that, what these people do. There is a certain lot. They are peacetime soldiers. They will organize good parties. They will, carry out certain favors, give favors to people in terms of manpower and all kinds. And then they will, you'll find that they are promoted because they are personally pleasing to certain people. So we are having no criteria or QR to assess the people who are actually good in warfare, people who are serving in the field areas, people who are facing the rigors of life with troops, facing the enemy, facing the nature, facing the natural things. So this is they want to remain in a safe zone and have that tag attached to them. Look, I was also there. But somebody who's a general, who's actually served, would make out within 10 minutes from a file. If you give me a file, I will tell you that if a person, when the unit is at Siachen, he's sitting as adjutant, that means he never climbed Siachen. He never went on a long range patrol. He never stayed with the troops in the same bunker. So how will he understand warfare? How will he realize that what it takes to sail in a ship when there is a tornado blazing? So if you want your naval ship captain, you want somebody who's sailed in rough seas also, in monsoons and in adverse weather and things like that. So a similar thing is we are promoting fair weather people who are actually, because जो लड़ाई में जाएगा ही नहीं वो गलती कैसे करेगा, जो फील्ड में जाएगा ही नहीं उसने तो सिर्फ पेपर पे लिखना है, और वो पेपर पे what is written on paper, how much of it can be executed on ground, that is a very big question. There's a lot of difference.
Oh yeah, definitely, there's a lot of difference. So ये बहुत सारी decisions paper पे होने लग जाती हैं,
and they commit no mistakes because they are giving orders to others that look, CO's orders are that so and so. In case of Kargil, there is not even an op order for war. You would be surprised to know. Whereas the entire teaching of the army, you see all those written work and those files, and they are there for op orders so that neither the commander can back out nor the attacking forces can back out. If you want to look at the reality of war, you look at World War movies, you look at Russian movies, war movies. That is where they show the truth. In our case, though, you see all that media does is they are so and so went and climbed. Yes, we must sing praises of those balidanis and people who martyrs. But you also look at what is happening otherwise. Why they had to land up in such a situation, in a helpless situation, that enemy is able to fire 8 bullets and he's not able to save himself as a military man. because one man able to protect himself with his military acumen and strategy and ground tactics. After deploying, if he fails, it is fine. But you are in everything you are saying hand-to-hand fight, and then they won. Why you had to land up in a hand-to-hand fight? You are supposed to have that wisdom that enemies never come able to come near you. Major Somnath Sharma, Major Shaitan Singh, PVC awardees. They used to fight war with stick. That if I have to pick up my weapon and fight with the enemy, where is my commandership? This is the kind of military teaching and use of military tactics. The use what is taught in your school and what is taught in your military teaching courses. That is what you deploy it in such a way that neither the enemy is never able to come, make you reach his killing range when he's expecting you. Whenever you reach when he's surprised. He doesn't know what has come and hit me, as it happened in case of 0.5770. And we did not give a Yudh Seva medal to Colonel K.S. Singh, the CO, who took that bold decision, which gave us that feature 0.5770 to the Indian Army. We did not give a PVC to Captain Chima. We did not give an MVC to Captain Shamal Sinha, who fixed the rope in such stealth and silence that enemy never got to know. And nobody talks about it. So what are we wanting? Are we raising the army to be annihilated like chickens by the enemy, or we are wanting tigers who are going to simply, give one paw to the enemy and he's killed? So what we are searching for in life, nature and destiny starts giving us that. In 71, we wanted something else, so we got a good army. And later, what happened? We have what a journey of 28 years. हम 99 में किधर आ गए कि हमारा we are having so much casualties in a limited war. So much of officer to men casualty that you have to go in order to coerce men. You have to force your junior troops to be, taking that risk beyond which they should not be going. Otherwise, when you move there are set drills that you will have this much of gap. So that if one burst of enemy or one ground burst of an artillery shell is not able to kill, 5 of your soldiers in one go. If the risk is, you are reducing the risk by spreading them out. These are all ground tactics. If somebody who's deployed it and used it in actual field and war, then only he will know. Otherwise, he will simply order ki, "Oh, jhund banao bakriyon ka," and proceed. What for are you training us then? What for are you spending so much of money? Simply you give a call when war breaks out, okay, please come, we'll give you 10-day firing basic training and go for war. Why you are having so many training establishments? You look at you look at School of RT, you go to School of Armored School at, what for are these places? These are there so that you kill the, as did Brigadier Chandpuri, that time Major Chandpuri. हमारी कैजुअलिटी हुई 2 और पाकिस्तान के हमारे 203. 100 times casualty. A man who decided on his own, he was given the option, Battle of Longewal, whether you want to withdraw, you want to stay, and he decides to stay, and वो पूरा बना दिया उन्होंने, शिकंजा बना दिया, and killed 203 Pakistanis. What is matter of pride? Is this a matter of pride or having people in hand-to-hand fight? वहां से तो कोई hand-to-hand fight की story नहीं है. वो तो उन्होंने killing zone में enemy को लाए and ठोकते रहे उनको. They finished them.
तो ये decision making किस के पास होती है when you are?
Ma'am, the decision making is again a very complex. It depends on the personality of, let's say, if your chief tells the army commander, okay, you command your army command the way you want to, and he tells his corps commander, you command the way you want to. I want results with least casualties and least wastage of national resources. So
it trickles down to
it trickles down. We have made it very, very personality based actually. If you really look at it, we have made it whimsical and personality based, which it should not be. There has to be the Army Act and the Army Law and the Army teaching and the GS pamphlets and the teachings and the instructions for war, because army is about war. So when you say ki, no, during war, ye jo war orders for war hai, these are only to be used during peace. So you will never use, because you will launch an attack only during exercise, not in real war. So when the real war came, Kargil war, you never used that format. The first item in a op order for war is khabar dushman. Ki dushman ki, what is the information about enemy? And you are telling a lie to them. You are misleading. So your order has gone wrong basically. And there is no actually order. What is your reorg plan? What is your casualty evacuation plan? What is your RT plan? How long will you require fire? And what is your time plan? What are your bounds? When are you going to reach? So these are very ground level tactics which even a layman would understand today, but army generals have forgotten this in Kargil.
Surprised at the word hallucination.
No, hallucination, metaphorically, you can say it has been used. So this is what they are denying. I am telling that, sir, I am eyeball to eyeball with them and I am posted there by your orders. You trusted me that he can go and face the enemy. And with 7 years of service and my third tenure, I'm telling you that the enemy is sitting there and he's firing from there only. And you say, no, no, you're wrong. I did not. I'm telling him, sir, he has an enemy post because he could not be present during the times of the day when he can, if he has a temporary patrol is coming, it will come at night because we are observing him. So he's telling me I'm reporting a bunker, a fire during the daytime, that as and whenever we move during daytime, he fires at us. And there is only one possible place from where he can be observing us and bringing directed fire. Well, there is no answer to it. Just but the court, people are sitting in वो बड़े-बड़े वो सब लगा के brass, heavy brass लगा के बैठे हुए, and they are not looking at this basic thing that if an officer, if you are as a CO, you are admitting that Major Bhatnagar had a discussion with me that his contention was that enemy has a permanent post at 0.5770. So if he's having that contention, he's there by your order, you have found him fit, and suddenly what has happened? You are questioning his judgment. That means there is some other foul play. And the people who are sitting should ask him that what makes you think that he could be lying? What could be your reasons to say that he's hallucinating or telling you a lie? It is not that he's going to war for the first time. He's there for months and years, which he's seeing firing every day. I have seen a Bofors 45 किलो का राउंड होता है बोफोर्स का, वो मेरे 20 मीटर दूर गिरा हुआ है. I've gone through so much of fire otherwise and survived along with my men. And suddenly you start questioning me ki your judgment is wrong. And then we have 5 casualties. 5 men are casualty, and despite that he's able to give a statement in the court and get away with it. That Major Bhatnagar had a discussion with that his contention is that enemy has appointed post at 0.5770, but in my assessment as a CO, I had overruled his assessment. However, I apprised the brigade commander and GOC of the views of the officers. And that GOC is also not cross-questioning him, that these are not his views, these are his observations. It is not an opinion. The enemy might be here or there. He's sitting eyeball to eyeball and telling you that he's firing at me from there. So how can you question that man's judgment? And I'm reporting an enemy fortification, a permanent post, on 8th or 9th of February of 1999, and they don't act on it. And simultaneously, feedback from the Pakistani side, which came in the form of this book, which was published in 2018 by a lady journalist of Pakistan. So she says that our men kept on moving in and they found there's nobody stopping them. We have vacated certain posts in first week of April when the snow starts receding. Why we have vacated those? To make zoo in
And that too
Leh.
after your warning.
Yes, after my warning, after Captain Saurabh Kalia's reporting, after GOC having seen the enemy footprints. So this is not a small lapse because of which the enemy could intrude 180 kilometer unnoticed. It was noticed. और वो एक कहानी गढ़ देते हैं कि वो एक civilian थे. Gadariye, I grant him his due because he's not drawing salary like me or General Badwar or Chief of Army Staff. He's a civilian. He's an honorable civilian who's done greatest duty for the country by spotting the intrusions in Batalik for the first time and informing the army at the risk of his life. For me, it is a duty. He's done a Tashi Namgyal is his name, the shepherd who informed in Batalik. But what they have done is they have concealed the reports made by own officers who are accountable to them. That if the enemy came, how he has come over there? They should have asked somebody. Did they ask anyone?
So what happened next? I mean, you were called, trial started.
Yeah, after I think we've reached up to the trial stage that everybody testified in my favor. My favor in the sense what I had stated that condition of troops is bad. and no order was given to me. And I had told General Badwar on the succeeding day that if ordered, we'll go for any task. After which I was given another task, which I completed, going across the lines, enemy lines, and then laying an ambush. I accomplished that task with my troops because it involved walking along the valley floor and, not so much of climb. We went through enemy fire, of course. So then uh, I was acquitted of the charge of disobedience of lawful command. बट दे एक ब्रिटिश प्रोविजन है ब्रिटिश टाइम्स का कि अगर वो जब गोरा साहब को कुछ लगता था ना कि कुछ सबूत नहीं मिला लेकिन आई डोंट लाइक द फेस ऑफ दिस मैन फॉर वट एवर रीजन तो वो 63 लगा देते थे आर्मी एक्ट सेक्शन 63 है ए वायलेशन ऑफ गुड ऑर्डर एंड मिलिट्री डिसिप्लिन एंड इट इज अनडिफाइंड यू कैन चार्ज एनीबडी फ्रॉम मर्डर टू शर्ट का बटन खुला हुआ है वो इस इट इज अ स्वीपिंग प्रोविजन
Is it still there?
इट्स स्टिल देयर I was convicted of this offense that improperly stated, not even falsely, improperly stated that his troops are unfit for an attack operation. So it is a truthful statement. Every witness is saying yes, the condition of the troops was critical.
And after being acquitted on all the charges, this
Not
was
on the
the
charges. I was convicted of violation of good order and military discipline for improperly stating that his troops are unfit for an attack operation.
तो और कुछ नहीं मिला तो इसको लगाकर एक
हाँ, they gave me
exit
dismissal from
path.
service and I was, at least at that time, I was very happy because I had seen so much of all this mark. Yeah, I said, let me be free of this. I have seen enough action in war for which I had adorned the uniform. बाकी दाता राम खिला रहे हैं सबको रोटी मुझे भी खिलाएंगे. Then I joined law and in Punjab University I was fortunate enough to clear the entrance in one go, first attempt, and I completed my law. And then I started practicing in Punjab Haryana High Court. Then later on, I also fought the case of Captain Saurabh Kalia for taking his case to International Court of Justice along with all the prisoners of war of 1971 war. So in wife of Major KJS, who's a POW since 1971. So his wife, she's the first petitioner in that case, which is pending before Supreme Court. So this is my journey into the law, and I've been doing legal
What
cases.
kind of impact would it have had on your emotional or mental levels? I mean, after having gone through so much, एक तो आप front पे थे, ऊपर से you were in the harshest of environments in our country. If you were to look at it on any other side, मतलब ये it's harsh. आपने एक प्लस पॉइंट मुझे बताया कि आपको मेडिटेशन का एक वो मिला वहां पर, लेकिन मुझे नहीं लगता कि इतने टफ एनवायरनमेंट से आप मतलब कैसे कंफर्टेबली कैसे निकल के आए आप?
तो एक्चुअली जो फौज की ट्रेनिंग होती है दैट इज व्हाट आई स्टार्टेड विद सो मैं मेरे हिसाब से अगर किसी और मेरे जैसा एनी ऑफ माय कोस्टमेट और मेरा एनी ऑफ माय ब्रदर इन he would have also sailed through the journey in a similar way as I have
नहीं
because
मतलब आपको किसी हेल्प की जरूरत नहीं होती. Don't you think there's
I
some
think
trauma that you experience as human beings also, or are you so hardwired or hardened that it doesn't really matter? I mean,
I think I again thank the training of the Indian Army to my instructors at National Defense Academy and IMA. So that is towards the military side and the journey of life. I think which my personal experience, I would say that Shani Maharaj jo hai, he makes you get in touch with the reality. So I would say one of the weak point of my personality had been because I had seen all success in my life till the time this particular incident happened. So I was somewhat arrogant. So that arrogance, I think nature, if at all it has punished me, though I don't treat it as a punishment, because these are perils of life, these are risks of life. So we are living in a land जहाँ राजा राम ने 14 साल वनवास भोगा. तो हम लोग चीज क्या है? We are nothing actually. We are so lowly, mortals for which. However, if you look at it, if I say so, there was a connect with nature and connect with meditation, connect with God. That has really been helpful, and in that I think that Lord Saturn's his influence, because his story is about bringing humility and humbleness in you.
it indeed is.
he makes you shine if you adopt these qualities. Otherwise, Ravan जो था, वो उसको गिरा दिया था उन्होंने. That is how he does. He's the master of he's the greatest teacher. He's a teacher of life and teacher of time. Yeah. So I think a combination of all these things and plus the strength of my own family, and the I had so much of support. You won't believe my trial used to be attended by about 7-8 reporters every day on a daily basis from different. You would find that such a kind of attention is very, very rare. So there was a lot of public support in my case, and despite this, despite the thing that the generals used a national emergency situation which they themselves created, they used that situation to malign me as a military man, because I was holding all their secrets, and there was a Subramanian committee was pending when they started this court of inquiry against me, which General Badwar was also, he himself was a judge as well as the witness practically of that court of inquiry. He was convening authority, and his name also figured as a witness. And my entire case is based on this particular court of inquiry, in which the witness himself is the judge.
Is the judge? I mean, it's ironical.
It's ironical, and this also speaks about the discerning eye our judicial systems have. That how such glaring facts, they keep singing about natural justice. No man should be condemned unheard. So here you are, the judge himself is sitting that you have slapped me and you are guilty, and now this is your punishment. No other witness required. So this is the kind of thing. Because that GOC he's initiating the ACR, he's initiating better performance report on his one stroke of pen. He's making people generals or removing that prospect of becoming a general. And he himself is a witness also, on paper also, not on the hindsight, probably on paper. So, so this is, we need.
What is the state of affairs now?
Pardon?
What is the status of?
It is still the same. I am aware of a case in which there are a number of cases which, as an advocate, I get to know. So the things are not much different. The JAG branch is again, they are at what they were doing, and I blame them. I say that you give answer to my questions. I'm condemning you in public, on a public platform. I've done it in that Vaad forecast also. And if it doesn't bother you also, because you know that this is the truth. This is the truth. You have done all this harakiri and you've been doing this. That is why you are not confronting this. Otherwise, in one of my interviews, I had said that there was no success of 12 Jackley and 111 GR until mid-June. So the radio set operator of Captain Manoj Pandey, who was from his Ghatak platoon, he sent a communication me, saw what we did not do, that you call that we were not successful. We were laying ambushes, we were doing this, and we may not have captured any objective by then, but we were constantly working. And in my next podcast, I had to rectify that. That is the pride people have. That is a pride and self-respect people have when they wear uniform truthfully. And now you look at this, there's no reply to my notice by General Malik.
What happens? He gets out with another notice? How does...
No, now I'm going to proceed with the court proceeding, and I'm going to present all these facts which have now come up, and there is a whole lot of evidence and the public opinion also. I won't call it public opinion. It is there and now in public, because as a major, I have no official means to gather evidence from others. This diary of Captain Saurabh Kalia also, I got it subsequently around 2008, yeah, around that time. And then I did not have the final evidence against Major General Badwar that he himself, because I have a statement from Colonel Srivastav at the trial proceeding, that I reported the activity to Colonel Srivastav, enemy presence in January 99, and he reported it further to Brigadier PC Katoch and General Badwar. But this is hearsay for any proceeding against General Badwar. And now is the evidence which has come up is that General Badwar himself saw with his own eyes in March 99 the enemy presence, regular army, and there is a witness speaking that he was there with me and he has seen it himself. So what action did he take? And if he informed his superior commanders, what action did they take? There are only two possibilities. He did not inform his IRFs, for which he is tribal now. And if he informed the senior, which senior did he inform? And what action did he take? And why did we not find it out? So now this is I think, the way forward. And this I owe it to our men, our fallen men. that if I'm a witness to certain truth which affects their life, I would fight my part of the battle. It is up to the judiciary or the army chief to take action or do whatever they want to do. If they want to rectify. Otherwise, you see, we are suffering now also in Jammu and all these places. We are losing our worthy men for nothing because those people they will take opium or nasha karke ladte hain ye log. So they will take something and they will come and annihilate so many lives, whether of civilians or of Fajis or disturb your system. All because we have incompetent generalship even now.
I know of a particular case. I cannot openly discuss it here on the forum, but the family is suffering big time, and such is the person that he's taken the blame on his own self. Of course, like a somebody who's in charge, anything that happens by the
Within his
team,
command. Anything
yeah,
that happens, yeah, okay.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's sad the way he's being treated and he's being sidelined and all of that is I can see that happening when I'm hearing your story. I am able to appreciate what that side that family must be going through at the moment also.
Luckily, I was a bachelor, so though I had a lot of support from the army, and my marriage was there in 2003. While I was doing 2001, I was dismissed from army service. Thereafter, I joined government.
You say the word dismissed as a badge as if you wear it
No, no,
like a
I
badge.
wear it as a medal. I say that
Yeah,
please read my court-martial proceedings, and
yeah.
anybody, I'm so willing to talk about it because
It's
this restores the faith of men. I am
yes,
in touch with my men, and
yes.
they, in the sense that they out of see, I was out of the unit thereafter. I was
Hmm.
no more an officer. So why would they, men would connect as a man to man with anybody?
And they still do.
Yeah, and they do, and because then it is also they know that at least our officer, our immediate commanders, will speak for our lives also, because they have given it's something like you are sailing in a ship, and your life is in through rough weathers. If you're sailing in seas, that
Yeah.
your life is in the hand of that captain. It is his decision to sail through a storm or avoid it or stay and wait for it. So whatever decision he takes, everybody's life is dependent on that. So
That's
in
right.
this case, I can tell with pride that the decision I took was with my conscience, and it proved right, because that attack operation with another company in between on 0.5203 did not succeed on 19 June night. So the assessment and discussion, because every time people were getting delighted. So this is basically, so that is why I say that I wear my court martial as a medal. And I would always like to, I tell everybody that so and so. Sometimes I even add my behind my name, ex Major Manish Bhatnagar, court martial.
You've said a couple of times that you're not the only one. There are a lot of people whose
Yes, a lot
stories
of
never
if
come.
you see a podcast from somebody like a correspondent, he could see this reality.
Hmm.
Vikramjit Singh, he used to be part of Indian Express then, and he took part in many attacks with the troops, and he was there on the ground. You look at his interview, the kind of experiences and what he speaks.
Hmm.
He talks about even civilians. He talks about even people who have got such a national spirit, their sacrifices, and what we have done for them. They are not even being paid to do this. हमने तो वर्दी पहनी है, हम नमक खा रहे हैं, सेना का, देश का नमक खा रहे हैं, तो हमारी तो we bloody well do what we are supposed to do,
देश
even
का
to the
नमक तो
peril
सभी
of
का
our
होता
life, even to the peril of our life, though in a fair manner, in a manner that military teaching says, because ultimately we are also national resource. But look at that civilian, look at those animals who carried our loads and died, and for warlords they carried ammunition through enemy fire. The civilians who carried food for our soldiers, I salute them. I salute them, in a bigger way than I would salute my own comrade, because my own comrade is duty bound, so am I. But look at that civilian, he's volunteered and gone there. So it is not the whole nation is together. That is why I say there is a lot of load on the shoulders of our generals. They have to realize, they have to restore the faith of the nation in our army and our armed forces. They should not allow any, even a just एक छींटा भी नहीं पड़ना चाहिए, वो वाली बात है. Because the whole nation comes and supports you. It's a holy, they do it with their heart. There's no compulsion. We have to keep their faith. We have to, do it at the peril of our lives if we have to do that.
Precisely the reason the likes of you are needed to tell these stories, जो अपनी कहानी नहीं बता पाए हैं,
जी।
कहीं ना कहीं से कोई तो आवाज चाहिए उन सब के लिए।
आप you'll be surprised, जो कैप्टन नवदीप चीमा हैं, जिन्होंने 0.570 का अटैक लीड किया था, आप उनका कहीं एक इंटरव्यू लेके दिखा दीजिए, कहीं कोई उनका नाम नहीं मिलेगा।
वो क्यों?
He's never, nobody is interviewed him because the army does not allow him to speak. द्रास में भी जो 25 साल की एनिवर्सरी हुई, आपको क्या नहीं लगता कि कैप्टन नवदीप सिंह, हु कैप्चर्ड द हाईएस्ट पीक by without any casualties, killing 13 Pakistanis, including one officer, doesn't he doesn't the nation want to hear his story, his bravery, what he has done? These are the men, even the generals should stand up and salute, irrespective of the rank. Irrespective of the rank, because you are not saluting as a rank. Yes, you are always higher, but you look at the man, the leader in him, military leader in him, who's done it on, जो पूरी आपकी teachings का सार है, it culminates into that, and you don't recognize him. Why? Because you don't want to tell the world, you don't want it to become known that 0.5770 जो हमने ऑफ विजय में रिकैप्चर किया एनिमी से, वो तो पहले ही जनवरी में पता लग गया था, because they knew कि मेजर भटनागर का केस is very much exposed. People know about it, that he had reported, and everybody knows now, and people question also.
तो मतलब truth will come out cascading down even more when more voices are heard.
They should be heard, and this is in the interest of the army actually, and we need a relook into the system of awards and decorations and promotions, because we made it out in such a way that only the people who have got vested personal interest are they are rising. And even the good men, I look at many of the people around me who have now risen to the rank of major general. They were very fine people, but ultimately they also have to toe the line, because everybody, it is almost humane to expect success in your career.
So then what happened?
Then I basically after the
law
trial
happened.
I joined law, and then I am practicing law till today.
But another side of you that I know of is a scientist. Like you also said, the nakshatra has a scientist in the making, and that too of nature. So ek to
No, I would say that everybody is a scientist, because anybody who's trying to find reality, as Einstein also used to say, that we are, we are learning new things every day. We are questioning our environment, and we are learning, we are finding answers. So that is the job of a scientist. The real scientist is always, there is a scientist in each one of us, and how much of it comes out is a thing. However, for the sake of this discussion, I would say that through my meditative journey, I've never read physics like a subject.
what was
I've
your
always read
subject?
it like a novel. I have read it like a novel.
नहीं तो जब आप पढ़ाई कर रहे थे आपके सब्जेक्ट्स थे क्या?
I had BSc Medical in National Defense Academy. It is a JNU degree, Bachelor in Science in Physics, Chemistry, and Maths.
Okay,
And
so
service
basic.
subjects. Yeah, military history and some other subjects are also there. So
Okay.
I have a formal BSc degree. And I feel that degrees are just a means to express your knowledge in a scientific or a academic language. Otherwise, you may find that a lot of people who know science much better than most of the revered names. And now I feel that it is very, very important. I would share with you what I had done was I have basically scripted 3 books in my life so far. First one was with my late uncle, Mr. K.K. Bhatnagar. I wrote the Battle of Chapparjiri with him. It was a novel on Banda Singh Bahadur, जो गुरु साहब के आदेश से जो जनरल बने थे सिख आर्मी के, and he defeated the Nawab of Sarhind in Battle of Chapparjiri, and he had avenged the killing of Sahibjadas.
Okay.
So that is Battle of Chapparjiri. मैंने उनकी my uncle's book I had written, and it was released by Captain Amrinder Singh. The next book I wrote was Kashmir and Kargil, which is on Kargil War. And third, the next one is Cosmos and the Divinity. I would like to show it. Let me just lay hands on it. This is about 620 pages. And
just bring it forward a bit, Cosmos and
Cosmos and the Divinity. So this one is all about astrophysics, cosmology. If you environmental sciences, geosciences. So this is basically about creation of cosmos, how it runs, what are the energies.
What did you learn about this? How did this happen to you? When did
Actually,
you get to?
I would say that just as you get Google feed, similarly, I get feed from nature. If something is
Interesting.
in my mind,
Hmm.
so the nature is responding to me, then I get to picturize that. And now I will talk about three of my major hypotheses or research or discoveries which have been validated. The first one is about I copyrighted this
I'd
work
like you
of.
to pause here in the sense that before you get on to telling us about your the research based or research backed work, how did this? You said that universe responds to you. Can you just help us understand जब आप क्या करते हैं? आप मेडिटेशन में बैठते हैं, कुछ सवाल होते हैं आपके, do you get a download of information? Do you see it? Where are you at that time in your mental space? You must be sitting in your
Actually,
room, but where are you really?
Actually, my meditative journey, like as I told you, started with a mantra. I
Right.
started reciting that mantra,
हाँ जी.
and उसके repetition में करता रहता हूँ. शुरू में your tongue moves, and then वो भी move करनी बंद हो जाएगी. Then it runs like a auto program. If you are able to
Yes.
maintain same time, same place, same mantra. So then now when I sit in, I am able to sit for about 1.5 hours. Sometimes my wife says that you are sleeping, actually, you are not meditating. So I tell her that might you also try someday sitting at one place for 1.5 hours. Even if you're trying to sleep in while sitting, then she understands that, okay, I might be genuinely into meditation.
Hmm.
So when you see, as I told you that I have a natural interest in science and space research.
Hmm.
So all those questions which are triggered, like I look at some news item, just say Chandrayaan has found water on moon,
Hmm.
or for example, some other space research or man landing on moon, and why moon missions are failing. Then all those questions are there in my mind, and over a period of time, either when I am sitting in meditation or during the day, I am able to get the answer. It will come to me. So
How?
this
You hear
is
a voice, you see
no,
something,
no, no.
you
It is just
get an understanding.
the thought comes, the energy, the thought comes, and it will give me the answer. Whatever query is going around in my mind, I
Okay.
get the answer. Okay, okay, this is the, and then I try to script it
Research.
because thoughts are something like कि वो बहती नदी होता है. अगर आपने जितना बकेट पानी निकाल लिया, वो आपका है. जो चला
हाँ.
गया, वो समंदर में मिल जाएगा.
तो कितने टाइम
It's
तक रहता है आपके मतलब आप स्क्रिप्ट करते हैं उसके ऐसा ऐसा भी होता है कि भूल भी जाते हैं आप?
sometimes it happens because if I am not available to, अगर मान लीजिए मैं traveling में हूँ, I drive very passionately. I have almost about 8-9 lakh kilometers on the road, self-driven. This fourth of my car, which I am now, it is now touching almost 1.75 kilometers, lakh kilometers. And earlier ones I have sent 3 lakh plus kilometers. And so sometimes it happens while I'm driving. So once I was driving with a friend of mine, and I would keep telling him, please keep recording, just make this note, make this note. So those thoughts I are recorded. So, but however, the major answers, the source of all this delivery is my morning connect in the form of meditation with nature. So these questions are about mostly about
Amazing.
nature, and they give me the, and then coupled with the observation. For example, I have also determined a different, process by which rain takes place. Normally, we
Okay.
know that evaporation and this is the primary source of rain, we believe.
Yes.
But there is also another type of rain, which is again scripted by me.
Okay.
Uh, by observation into the rainforest and how do they accumulate rain and how does it happen actually. And that
Can you
also
talk
led
about
me
that?
to the key and how does the water gets formed in the cosmos itself? Because originally,
Would
though
you like to
we,
talk about that?
yeah, about this I will right now talk about three of the validated theories.
Okay. This is yet to be validated. This is
These are like these are
a
scripted and
theory.
according to me, but I just wait for somebody who's a professional into that field to find this out. Now,
Hmm.
many of the discoveries, or I believe them to be discoveries, whether they are actual discoveries or formed in thoughts or not, that would reveal in due course of time, maybe 5,
For
10, 15, 20 years or beyond my lifetime also.
sure. Everything
So,
starts, I believe, with a thought or a
yeah,
theory like that in the mind, and then you do research and then validate that.
yes. So in this case, the first one is that how does the water gets formed on the lunar poles?
Okay.
Now, you yourself are from an academic field and an accomplished person in that field. So, but we have found out that there is water with our gadgetry and with our, robotics on the moon, lunar soil sample, or by spectrometry, or by SARA found Chandrayaan 1, it found derivatives of water on the near side, where it was impact landing करके उन्होंने find out किया था. So that data became available then, but we don't know as yet, as on date. There's no theory which could tell how does that water get formed
On the moon.
on the moon. So that I had scripted this hypothesis or theory of mine with observation and with the input from the nature. So that is scripted. That was later claimed by University of Alaska about 4 months after me in April 2022. So then I filed a copyright suit against them, and then
How did you get to know about it?
actually it came in publication. One of the magazines in India, they published it. 2, 3 media houses. So then I served them with a notice that this is not the first discovery. I have a prior discovery, and this is copyrighted in this way by the Copyright Society of India, and here it is. So then I challenged that, though they have withdrawn that article and they have considered. However, I'm insisting on a corrigendum, that you have to publish a corrigendum. Now we can do under the scheme of copyrights. It is a domestic law. It is not an international law. So I can insist on rectification in India only.
Okay.
And because they published it in India, that is how I could challenge that. If it was simply published in US, I had no legal right to challenge that. This is a loophole in the copyright laws, actually.
Yeah,
and the second one is, the second theory which stands validated is how the motions of Jupiter influence Earth axis and Earth climate. I have also put up a YouTube video on my channel, The Science Beyond, on this
topic.
Help us a
little bit what your
actually, if you look at the range of Jupiter, we have to look at certain things which are again coming from the stuff from the Western cosmology. We know that Jupiter is about 300 times the size of Earth.
Yes.
And it would have been a star if somehow fusion could begin. It is very massive, and it is on the other side. It is the outer planet. That means Earth is between Sun and Jupiter.
Right.
And the orbit, Jupiter follows a 56 to 59-year-old, revolution around the Sun. And in that, it comes closer, as close as 56 crore kilometers to Earth, and goes as far as 96 crore kilometers.
Because of the elliptical nature of the orbit.
That is how the orbit is.
Yes.
Earth's orbit and Jupiter's orbit. So if it is that we have deduced on the basis of our ancestors did it simply from the nature, on the basis of observation, they knew कि वो 12 साल में it is completing one cycle, and in that orbit around the sun it is 59 years, and that is a time it is traversing that kind of Earth to Jupiter distance varies by so much. So when we apply it on G is equal to m1 m2 divided by r square, the force of gravity between Earth and Jupiter would vary at such a big scale. That is square of almost about 40 crore kilometers inversely. So what is happening is that when it is closest to the Earth, it pulls away the Earth even in terms of few lakh kilometers from the sun, which you are not able to register. There is no mechanism in even in general relativity. There is no way in which you can determine it mathematically or observationally, because Earth-Sun distance is also a derivation. This is something the Western cosmology never reveals to people. It is on the basis of angular extension from Earth, Moon, and Venus, placement of Venus. I think the last time this determination was made was in 1960s, when that combination was there, suitable for taking this observation. So Earth to Sun distance varies. Now, on what basis? I do not say this by Western methodology. I say it on the basis of weather data of the Earth. Now, what happens is if the Earth, if Jupiter is coming that close, so we have a magnitude tail of the Earth is very, very huge. It reaches almost as close to the Moon. The Earth's atmosphere extends so much, and the magnetic field, and the magneto-tail is on the leeward side. The sun side is there, and then there's a tail side, and it
Okay.
is almost 24 hours it is repeating. So when the
Right.
Jupiter is on the other side, it is pulling away the Earth's matter,
Hmm.
and the magneto-tail gets further extended. And if you know the how a vacuum is created, let's say if you want to have a vacuum flask, so there is air in it, you keep on removing air from it, and it becomes a vacuum, and it acts as a insulator of heat. So in this case, the magneto-tail of the Earth, the gases in the magnetotail zone are pulled away towards the Jupiter because it is very close. And it is pulled away at a different scale when it is farther away, like 96 crore kilometers. So during this period, the exit of heat, the heat balance of Earth changes. Because you would notice on a clear sky, clear night sky, when there is no insulation of cloud, etc. This we can directly observe. Heat retain hoti hai. Nights will also be, cloudy nights will be colder than the clear nights when there's no cloud cover. You can observe it anytime. So similarly, the action of extension of magneto-tail gases is basically gases are commuting the leaking out the heat back into the space. So when there is a stretching of magneto-tail gases, the vacuum action becomes more and more effective, and there is more heat insulation in the Earth, and there will be some temporary periods of 5-10 years of Earth, disturbing its normal heat exchange cycle with the cosmos and the space.
Mm-hmm.
So this research was later validated, like they claimed it under own name, University of California, Riverside, because obviously they don't get to know of, I don't say that they've copied it, but they have arrived there later than me by a different method. Theirs is based on statistical models. Now the third one, when I scripted this, I had also mentioned in this work that as and when we find out about the soil composition of the far side, as and when we are able to get sample, it should be different from the near side. Now, at that time, it was known that the far side is helium predominant.
You're talking about the moon now.
About the moon now. So now when Chang 5 came in July 2024 with lunar soil samples, so they have found that it is basically derivatives, water is present in there in a big quantity, reasonable percentage. And it is basically predominant in ammonia is present in derivatives which comes out from the volcanic activity. So if you look at the moon formation event, like moon is, both the sides are formed by the same process, that Theia struck Earth and matter from the Earth in semi-molten state or in gas plasma state went and accredited into moon. And initially both the sides would have same composition. But over a period of time, the near side has been receiving nearby reflections and radiations from the Earth, including the oxygen which is leaked out from the near side. The photosynthesis oxygen reaches as far as up to the moon, and this has been recorded by a Japanese satellite, Kaguya. So when there is sun, the Earth radiations are masked, because when sun is up, everything is masked. You can't register any other radiation. So when the Earth was in the sun shadow, and moon was one side was Earth, moon was here, and those 5 days when it is no moon, it means 2 days before Amavasya and 2 days after that, there's no Earth reflected light falling on the, like moon is not receiving any, reflecting any light towards the Earth, and Earth is also not actually doing so, by active solar radiations. So that time the Kaguya, the Japanese satellite, recorded the leaked out oxygen from Earth reaching the moon space. So when you connect all the dots and when you connect all this data, you realize that the near side is having certain interactions which the far side is not having. And as a deduction, the far side should have a different soil composition, which is now confirmed by Kaguya.
So it was your deduction. It was your.
It is observation and deduction. How else would you prove a theory? Now, let's say if I ask the very scientists of Chang 5K, people who are reading that data and analyzing that data, they have not reached at this conclusion. No one else has. And I have said this, that this is going to happen because I'm also telling you the process because of which it is happening. So when you say, as the Western science, the irony is they demand all the proofs from anybody who's not a fellow professional, who's not experimenting nature by their methodology. Their methodology is through instrument, gadgets, mathematics, etc. Mine is a direct method that I'm brooding over it, that how come this is happening? How come the derivative of water is different on the near side and it is different on the far side? And that time, whatever reply the nature is supplying to me, I am scripting it and writing it.
Interesting. Interesting. And this book of yours is available on.
I'm not right now published it because I need to add certain sketches and explanatory notes, because the people who reviewed and read it, they say that it takes a lot of time to assimilate. Sometimes comprehending 2 pages takes a lot of time. So you need to make it more amenable for readers to understand. Then only there's no point in wasting paper otherwise.
Right. So this is copyrighted, I believe.
This is copyrighted, and whatever this spot also I have, which I can show it to you, that I have written this, that as and when the man reaches on the far side and examines it, the lunar soil sample should be different. I'll just pick up the book. I missed the flag. Actually, I'm not able to reach. Somebody has removed the flag which I had put into this right now. Otherwise, it is scripted and it is copyrighted by, duly copyrighted by Registrar of Copyrights.
So just like you, Manishji, there will be a lot of people who would have some new theories coming up. And
Yes, very,
so when
very
you say
important point.
copyright, yeah, I want
Very
to
important
understand
point.
more about that.
Yeah, actually, you will find that just as I'm there must be hundreds and thousands of people who are, researchers by passion, and they are researching and discovering things, but they are not scripting it. Or
For the
even if they
fear
are
of.
scripting it, they are looking for validation from the fraternity, and that is the biggest mistake. It happened with S.N. Bose, who discovered the Bose condensate, and he wrote the mathematics for it, the entire hypothesis and the thesis, and he sent it for validation and publication to a German scientific journal. Now that journal rejected it as trash and sent it back to S.N. Bose sometime around 1923. So he then approaches Einstein for validation of his. So Einstein remained honest enough that he actually translated it to German and then had it published under his note in that German magazine. And then this particular new state of matter finally came to be known and, as an accomplished theory by the Western world and the Western methodology science. That now, when I say Western science, it is all those people who are studying in India also, anywhere in the world, because they are following Newtonian science, they are following their methods of observing, going to the moon rather than waiting here and that how moon is influencing us. So this is the kind of all those people who are, whether they are in IITs or your own good self or other people who are deploying this kind of methodology, they all are following Western science. So Western science, the problem is that the process of validation itself, there's a lot of poaching. There's a lot of theft of many theories, which students sometimes they are writing and they are sharing in good faith with their teachers or their guides, etc. And in the process, what happens is they will simply keep that idea and after some time carry out certain changes and publish it in their own names. This is the unfortunate part, or the professional dishonesty. We have talked about professional dishonesty in the army. Now we are talking of professional dishonesty in the academia and scientific
Fraternity.
Professionals. So they, in the world of science also, and there is no mechanism for this. Let's say if I have a scientific research paper, till as on today, the only option I have is to register it as a literary or dramatic work. Because if I mail it to some scientific journal, another scientific mind is reading it. So he might catch the original idea, and which is possible to be proven, or which meets the standards of proof as a good discovery, a new discovery with all validation. And then he will carry out some cosmetic changes, minor changes, and the central theme, like in this, the central theme is in my own these three discoveries which I've listed. The central themes are that you don't yet know the process which leads to formation of water on moon. Now, after 5 years, if somebody finds it out or reads it in my this thing, and then he will start looking for those telltale signs, and he may be able to reach there because he's there in that professional domain, and then he will publish it under his own name. That is why I simply copyrighted it. This is a fact of the matter that I spoke about the process which leads to formation of water on moon in the first place. So हम we were talking about SN बोस की उनके फिर बाद में जब वो बोस कंडेंसेट से बोस आइंस्टाइन कंडेंसेट बन गया. His singular discovery had the name of Einstein added just because he was looking for validation from the Western world. And in case of SN Bose, he was still lucky that it went to a person like Einstein with some level of integrity and honesty, that he did not later publish it under his own name. Otherwise, you keep proving, nobody listens to you. It happens with many people. One of the Nobel I know, there was a lady scholar, researcher, young researcher. She had shared it with her professor, and she had found the first discovery was made by her. And the Nobel was being awarded. It was declared in the name of her teacher, who had actually poached it from her work by similar methodology. And then she objected luckily in time, and she had the evidences of that sharing. Otherwise, you see, if you are sharing your work on email, let's say you send it to any journal, it is a very thin thread. The person might say, I never opened that mail, or you say it is all that mail account is closed. 5 years hence, you will find that you can't find those traces. Keep approaching Google for your mail record, etc., etc. And courts do not admit it as evidence.
So, for your advice for anybody who has a thought, who would like to come up with an idea like this, should first document it,
Yes.
copyright it, and then send it further.
Yeah, the methodology is that you have a research, script it in a clear language to the extent in the scientific language possible. Then publish it. Even you may publish even 25 copies, 10 copies, so that there is a public record that you published it. And then you apply. There is a very beautiful and user-friendly website by Copyright Society of India. Their office is in Dwarka. Otherwise, entire process is online. You upload your work over there, fill the form in which they ask you that who's the author, and whether there is a second person involved as a publisher and copyrights have been exchanged or whatever, sold or whatever. So all those forms you fill out, it is self-explanatory, and you pay a fee of 500 rupees for under literary work category. Once it is copyright, they will upload it on their website for public objections, etc. After 1 month, it will go through the process of their further scrutiny they have a legal team. And then finally, in 3 to 5 months, 6 months, they issue you the copyright certificate.
It doesn't have to go through any scrutiny of any sort.
Scrutiny is there by Copyright Society. They are putting it on public platform. So it is a registered body and government recognized body. And once they are putting it on public platform, anybody who's there, the title should match with your content.
Okay. Okay.
And at least even if it is not meeting the typical requirement for a scientific nature of discovery, yet it is a fact that you said certain things. For example, I can always claim on the basis of this copyrighted work that, look, I told you this is a process which leads to formation of water on moon. I told you that the composition of the far side is likely to be different from near side, and for what reason. And I also told you that, look, Jupiter's motion is influencing when Jupiter is nearby. There are bouts of heavy rainfall, which is co-temporous with the close transit of Jupiter with the Earth.
So is that what we are experiencing right now? Jupiter is nearby.
No, Jupiter is now drawing farther away, though it is close. That was around 22. It happened.
It was the nearest.
Yeah, all weather agencies were telling. They are actually the El Nino, La Nina. According to me, it's a hoax. It's a hoax. Because it suits the weatherman. But otherwise, nobody can predict Indian weather. Indian monsoon, nobody can predict.
Yeah.
So in 2022, I think they had predicted scarcity of rainfall in Southeast Asia. And by the time it was October, it was surplus by 106%. So variation of around 14% from their assessment, 12 to 14%. Otherwise, normally variation is about 2% in usual years. This unprecedented rain occurred in 1959, and then same when Jupiter was close to us. So these are the empirical logics on the which I don't even, when the Chandrayaan 3 landing was being planned, then I had written a communication and a mail to PMO and ISRO also that according to me, the safety margin to cater for the, according to my hypothesis, the experience of moon's gravity changes, not only because of the mass cons. These anomalies are recorded actually, and the survey satellites of US before every moon landing, they carry out extensive surveys by flying the satellites over moon number of, and they create a gravity map. So they attribute it to the mass cons, the record. But they did it in 1969 and 70s also, and then later they did it after 20 years, but they never made public the records after 20 years, because I think that the moon's gravity was found to be different, because moon is subjected to something called perturbation. The impact of cosmic bodies, you would notice that if a huge truck impacts a small car,
Yes.
the car is thrown away much further. So moon is a very small body.
Yes.
So the motion of Jupiter or the galactic system motions of the solar system itself influence the gravity which is being transferred through the moon. So somebody who's going for a soft landing, and you are in such a thin atmosphere and you are basically on the thrust only. So that thrusters, then they had changed the, after my mail, there was a statement from the ISRO chief about 2 weeks hence. No, I'm not here to claim anything that they changed the program or anything, but I'm just making an observation. I'm just reporting an observation that the hover to land height of Chandrayaan 3 was unprecedentedly almost about 1.5 to 3 times of the normal landing attempts, soft landing attempts in the moon. So it was 150 meter. The usual is 50 meter. So when you are you get more time for stabilization, and you become, soft landing becomes the prime and the only objective. You are not worried about payloads, because to hover from that height and land, you require multiple times fuel than you would require for from a hover to land from the lower height.
Right.
So because you stabilize and then in a controlled way you come down. So if you are attempting stabilization from a lower height, you are risking that if your that 50-meter margin is not good enough a buffer to ensure the changes from your plan and your landing program. Speed may be more, you may not be able to get the right attitude, it might topple over, things like that. So you increase the height, that if I get more buffer.
Get a buffer.
Yeah, it's something like faster the airliner. Let's say if an aircraft wants to, is just flying at 1,000 kilometers an hour and wants to land in Delhi, it will start its descent about 200 kilometers before Delhi, so that it has that margin. Otherwise, if it is closer by, similarly, by same logic and same anomaly, not anomaly, same analogy, you you are achieving this.
Amazing. What a journey. How do you feel about this? How do you feel
Actually, I feel very contented. In my life, I have seen that by the grace of God, I have not come across any bouts of dissatisfaction or discontent. For example, if I am fighting some judicial system or the army's law or certain kind of things, the struggles, the usual struggles. So I feel it is part of the journey. It is my duty to fight, carry out my fight, and destiny or nature or God will ultimately determine the outcome. So with that,
It's
there is a lot of peace and lot of contentment, as probably you can see it on my face.
it's nice to see the balance between an appreciation for science and yet bowing before the Almighty God, the superpower or the higher powers that we are not able to physically see, but we can only understand that through certain experiences that we've had in life. To say that that power for sure exists, it's not a theory, it's actually a fact. So this is a balance that I see in you when you talk
Actually, I'll
about
tell
your
you, this particular sheen or cutting edge, or reaching at the decisive theory or hypothesis. This came to me after 2016. 2016 was the year when I started reading Sri Bhagavad Gita every day, one chapter. Unless I'm traveling, I read one chapter every day. And I think that all the science of the cosmos is there. And why it is a brilliant, and even from the viewpoint of the rationalist and also of the people who call themselves atheist. So Bhagavad Gita is the only document in which you have somebody coming and telling that I am the God. Otherwise, you find Son of God, Messenger of God, and all these kind of things you will find. But there is no man who has walked this earth and testified that I am the God and this is the way I run this cosmos. And look at that discourse. There's no other discourse like that. Even in the language of Sri Bhagavad Gita, though I read the translation because my Sanskrit is okay, but not good enough to comprehend the complex structure of language over there. So you'll find that the language, level of language of Sanjay is different, of Dhritarashtra is different, of Arjuna is different,
Oh, yes.
of Shri Krishna is different. When Shri Krishna speaks, every comma, full stop, every sandhi has a meaning, a very deep meaning. And you can, it is writ large in when you, anybody who's read Bhagavad Gita repeatedly would realize that it can never be created. This discourse can never take place between a man. It can never come from a man. And even in the court of law, here is the direct evidence. This is primary evidence. That person, he is saying, I am the God. This is the way I run it. These are my cosmic secrets. I am the one who's keeping all the planets in their orbit, in their respective places. I am the light which is coming through sun. And I am doing this. These are the time equivalents that when Brahmaji's these many days, these many years, which are, billions of years for a human, this thing, that is one day of Brahma. And when he is asleep, everything will merge into him, the manifested cosmos. And when he is day for him, for in Devlok, it is 6 months equivalent of Earth is one day in Devlok. So there is no clarity, more clarity possible in cosmology, all relativity, all cosmology, all astrophysics. You can find your answers from Sri Bhagavad Gita and Sri Bhagavad Katha if you want to go in more detail.
That's even more science based. I mean, there are a lot of evidences of science
about genetics, how about living beings were created. So why we are not even my appeal to Modi ji is that instead of chasing the Western methodology, it's fine. We have proved to the world by Chandrayaan 3 that see we are the kings of this field also. But you are real kings of a field which, if you get the least, the leading astrophysicist of West, they can't match with maybe our one of the religious gurus somebody who's teaching the Sanatan science from a different viewpoint, from the native viewpoint of Bharat. So there is a need to our own scientific brains in IITs, and they are all becoming Western scientists, and that is why there are no discoveries. After 1947, before that, there are discoveries, major discoveries. You have J.C. Bose making the first radio communication from the town of Calcutta, crossing I think the Secretary General or the Governor through his body and across two walls, and then he's ringing a bell by that signal, telecommunication. That is the first telecommunication, and he doesn't claim patent for it also. You have S.N. Bose giving the Bose-Einstein condensate, which, according to me, and scripted in my book, holds the key to how the cosmos will dissolve and be recreated. So the problem with Western science is that everything is a matter of proof. So a heart which is ultimately, you have to believe in something, you have to have faith in something. Otherwise, the consciousness is dead in you. So the Western science is such an atheist. It wants no intervention even of human consciousness. For example, if you record, if I say that moonlight gives me a colder feel, so they will bring out their thermometer and put it there and put it in the shade where no moonlight is there and says it is the same. But when I say that how you feel as a human being, now they have introduced in their weather systems, they say temperature this much, wind speed this much, real feel this much.
Yeah.
So they have added their column without telling anyone that, look, we were actually fooling people till now, and now we have corrected ourselves. Because key to entire cosmos is consciousness. If you extricate it totally, you may reduce it, you may increase it. In native and Bharati ways, there may be more element of consciousness, human consciousness. But you can't exclude it totally in the West. It may be less in the West, but you can't say कि no, no, no. हम human consciousness को आने ही नहीं देंगे बीच में. जो हमारा instrument बोल रहा है, जो human consciousness ने create किया, वो सही बोल रहा है. We will believe only that. If the instrument is telling me you are feeling cold, then I will start feeling cold. If the instrument is telling you are feeling warm, then I will start. And I am governed, my instrument is governed by the programming which I have done and the mathematics that I've applied and the statistical model which I've applied to it, given the parameters and directions, which is what we call AI. So
this latest news about
AI is a good slave, but a bad master. So
Western it cannot be a master.
Western science is committing the mistake of deducing on the basis of AI as a master.
Human intelligence को surpass नहीं कर सकता, वो सिर्फ speed ला रहा है processing में. मतलब अगर आपने कुछ सोचा है और आपने कोई किताब लिखनी है, आपने thought से, you can just give an outline to it and something will come up from there. Your speed may not be as much to put into words what your thoughts are. That way it is really helping. Will it supersede? I think if we allow it, if we succumb to it, then maybe there would be a time where human brains will say, okay, fine, we're not good enough, which is very easy for humans to fall also, no?
No, you see, this will take away the very essence of human life or consciousness. Yes. If you see, if physically play a game of football or on video game is totally different. Otherwise, there will not be, people spending billions of dollars on watching a FIFA World Cup live. They would rather watch the robots play and, the computer games. So that way the AI can never defeat the human intelligence and the human consciousness.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about this news article that came in the papers yesterday, if you've come across that, about IIT Mandi introducing reincarnation and study on consciousness for their engineering students?
No, it is a very good step, I would say. And in fact, IIT Mandi, I've been reading about whether the ex-director or the director. So I've been impressed by his views also, and I want to interact with him also on many topics of science. So this is otherwise, if you see the entire in the Western arena in 1920s, I would specifically mark Copenhagen interpretation. That is where all the quantum scientists, because Einstein was bewildered by was what Niels Bohr was telling, or what the Schrodinger's wave equation was suggesting, or what the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle was telling. So he felt bewildered. So all these people had met in Copenhagen, and they realized that actually the quantum domain controls the materialistic domain totally. And since then, they have not moved forward one bit from that stage. They knew about 10 odd particles then, but they now maybe know about 200, 300 particles. But so far as advancement of knowledge is concerned, there is no growth or advancement in quantum domain in the West. Whereas in the East, it is eternal, ever-present, and static as well as dynamic. There are fixed laws, fixed tables, which you can get in touch with nature, apply them as trigger point, and alter your human experience. For example, I wear these, you see, this is one ring I wear, and this. Out of my personal experience, I can validate that these influence my life after wearing these. And this has come out from native astrology, Vedic astrology, which I've read also. And the biggest example now, I have a military background. I'm a simple BSc, and I am making suggestions or giving hypotheses which are actually new. They may be wrong, at some time they may be proved right or validated or proved wrong. But ultimately, I have no business to be in the ocean where I am. I'm not from Navy, but yet I am there because the astrology says so. And I have also reproduced this as an introduction in why when I try to find out why I am drawn to space research, because I am born in Shatabhisha Nakshatra. So Shatabhisha, out of 27 nakshatras, this is the only one which generates interest. Now, what level of success in terms of the worldly success I am able to derive out of it is a different question. But my interest itself is a testimony that astrology works.
Indeed, I think we have a question about it when we look at it as a pseudoscience. But how can you disregard the influence of planetary motions around?
Yes,
How
it
can
is not a
you?
pseudoscience. It is a super science which is presently appears. For example, if I start teaching algorithms to a primary student who has only been introduced to tables,
Hmm.
so he will say all this mathematics is wrong. My teacher has told me 2 into 2 is equal to 4, and up to infinity I can calculate, but there is no place for algorithms. This PhD doctor or whatever you are calling is totally wrong. He doesn't know anything. So this is the state of Western science so far as Western the Vedic astrology is concerned.
पर एस्ट्रोलॉजी को भी अगर देखें, आपने एल्गोरिदम वर्ड यूज करा, मैं ये मानती हूँ कि जैसे ही किसी की लाइफ का एक प्लान बन जाता है, अब आई एम शिफ्टिंग फोकस अ लिटिल ऑन टू द रीइंकार्नेशन पार्ट बिकॉज आई फील वेरी पैशनेटली टुवर्ड्स that somebody is, and this also will apply to only those, or will appeal to only those people who believe in reincarnation. So let's say there is a soul which goes out, moves from the body, comes out, comes back again, and a life happens. How is a life different from another life? There are 8 billion people on the earth currently. How is every life different? So what I understand is that according to what the plan is, what we say destiny, a destiny is planned, and an algorithm is set into motion which is about the planetary movement. So one photograph is taken at the time of birth, and then as the transits of these
Yes,
planets
yes, yes.
happen, the and there are very many possibilities. So you cannot say
True.
that it's just a straight line that
Yes,
the life
yes.
will fall on. It's based on choice also. Choice is also taking
Free
making
will,
more
free
choice
will.
is also a choice.
You are given
So
certain degree of free will.
फ्री विल, यस। सो उसके अंदर ये सारा अगर एल्गोरिथमिकली फिट होता है, अगर आपने ये चॉइस लिया तो ये वाला
आउटकम होगा।
रूल अप्लाई होगा, अगर ये किया तो ये रूल अप्लाई होगा। आई थिंक व्हेन वी बिगिन टू अप्रिशिएट इट, आई हैव ओनली नाउ रिसेंटली बिगन अप्रिशिएटिंग एस्ट्रोलॉजी एज़ टू कॉल इट सुपरस्टिशन। आई माय एडमिशन हियर। आई यूज्ड टू थिंक दैट जो भी एस्ट्रोलॉजी की बात करते हैं वो रैंडम लोग होते हैं और उनसे
No,
आगे।
it is just that you see, if let's say if we don't keep Sanskrit alive,
हुँ,
after maybe 400 years hence, people will say there was no language called Sanskrit.
एब्सोल्युटली,
Whereas if you go to the Vedic Gyan, Sanskrit is the language, most scientific language, and
यस,
in which the maximum expression is possible in
यस,
one particular way. And its phonetics, the sounds have an effect on your body. It has been proven there was a Delhi police experiment in which they did it with some. So if you are doing certain mantras, the body will release paracetamol naturally. So these experiments, these are lesser experiments. I'm just saying that from the the mundane world, but otherwise I just ask you why we can't have another, creation like Mahabharata in English language. You create 1 lakh verses of English written in a particular way, narrating a story in which philosophy of life, warfare, everything is there. Why can't we create another book like Sri Bhagavad Gita if it is not divine? So,
इंडीड,
but few, if we don't practice this, so similarly, the astrology got lost out because people started, people started getting corrupt, the practitioners as well as the seekers of that knowledge. So once the knowledge, the Jyotish means the light of God. So God is showing you light into the corners, what, West thinks, now the creation of dark matter and dark energy. I also call it a hoax in the way that Western science understands it. They have brought these two terms when they are all Newtonian physics, their gravitational constant has failed because they have calculated that this should be the energy coming from here, or the rate of universal expansion should be this. I have made video on this also, that even your dating the cosmos is wrong. They haven't got it right actually. So that is how they have coined the term dark matter and dark energy. Hamare in Vedic Gyan it is called Uttisht, the leftover which will not be seen with 5 senses. Uttisht यानी छूटा हुआ. There is manifested cosmos and there is unmanifested cosmos.
अनमैनिफेस्ट,
So there is a word, and उत्तिष्ठ का एक शास्त्र है पूरा उसके ऊपर, ज्ञान है उसके ऊपर. ये लेफ्ट ओवर है, इसको आप 5 सेंसेस से नहीं देख सकते, 5 ह्यूमन सेंसेस से. यू विल सी नाउ, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड. साइज अंडरस्टैंड्स की जो डॉग है वो अलग फ्रीक्वेंसी की लाइट देखता है, जो काउज है वो अलग देखती हैं. सम एनिमल्स आर कलर ब्लाइंड, सम कैन ओनली सी दिस. Eagle can, smell, carry out a UV dissection of animal's urine by which it goes and hunts it. So the faculties in nature amongst the animals and human
Are
beings are
varied.
different.
Yes.
So they say that the biggest creation on earth, which is human being, has this limitation that he cannot see this world, which is there is bhautik and there is parabhautik, beyond physical realm.
Mm.
So हमारे यहाँ तो ये everything is defined. It's just that the Western science lacks that capability or faith,
Or appreciation as of now.
appreciation.
I guess they're warming up to it more than we Indians are, I believe. मतलब हम Western science तो overall बोल रहे हैं. But to my understanding, countries like Germany, countries like Switzerland, there are universities in China. They have introduced courses in Sanskrit so that they can read our Vedic texts available directly rather than somebody's interpretation or
True.
somebody's.
Yes, this is a very big
So
step
they're
by
warming
them.
up more. We Indians are lagging behind, I would say.
Yes. No, we need to. Now, I am looking for a Sanskrit teacher nearby to further polish my Sanskrit. I'm working on it. And in fact, I want to directly understand Sanskrit. Though I read Sri Bhagavad Gita from ISKCON, जो प्रभुपाद वाली इंटरप्रेट करी हुई है, तो मैं उसका सिर्फ ट्रांसलेशन पढ़ता हूँ, एंड देन आई the application and interpretation of that Hindi words is my own.
Hmm.
So this way, similarly, if they are doing it, it's a great thing. But I have myself, I've stayed in US also for some time. So my experience is कि ये जो जगह की भारत भूमि जो है, ये it is a special land. It is not ordinary land. It is a land of high transactions.
Yes.
अब मान लीजिए कि आप किसी कोल्ड जोन में जैसे चले जाते हैं, तो यू फाइंड दैट द सर्कुलेशन इज लेस, और लोग सिर्फ जब धूप निकलेगी या दिन होगा तभी निकलेंगे टाइप्स, और वट एवर यू आर अडॉप्टेड टू अ पर्टिकुलर लाइफ स्टाइल. सिमिलरली योर कार्मिक exchanges happen at a very high pace in India, unlike other lands. So China, yes, I agree, because also they have a similar kind of things. But you would also be surprised to know that the greatest discoveries about sun and moon are by east.
Hmm.
They first time found water, Chandrayaan 1, Bharat's this thing. Then the detections of Kaguya, Japan,
Hmm.
about sun,
Hmm.
it is again Japan. So these are the East actually has that inner knowledge, which is at which is in the quantum domain. So West, the moment it wants to actually go and progress in the quantum domain, it will have to come to East and
East
the ways of the East. And here we are aping the Western ways. Our best of the brains are
out
simply
there.
there to cram things and pass certain papers, and then further pass this thing just to show up. And then finally somebody who's an IIT, and you will find that ki, acha, what is his achievement? He's become the CMD of World Bank, or he's heading so and so economic forum, or he's so they are not into engineering. So basically we have selected good brains, so let them be deployed in the study of the ancient, in the Bharat's civilization, its culture, its super science, everything. This is my humble view on this point. I
My Lord,
think
I think this conversation can be endless.
so.
There is so much to learn from you, Manish.
No,
It's
no,
good.
no, ma'am. It is the feeling is mutual. We all, learning from each other. That is how it is. The nature is telling us, conveying things to us from each other. We all are a student. There's a good friend of mine. He had coined a proverb and told me, when the student is willing, the master appears.
Hmm.
So that means ki when you are having that student like feeling in you, the nature will supply you the means
Hmm.
to deliver the lessons of life to you.
Indeed, indeed. And I think I've truly understood that from you. What I really like about you is the forever learning uh, a forever student hat that you wear. You don't get into a mode of okay, I know, and you the thing to get inspired from your story also. Why I wanted to talk to you in the first place also is because how there is a fall and a rise and a fall and a rise and a fall and a rise which coincides with our breath. So nothing should be taken as conclusive or finality saying this is the end, because the end also marks a beginning for something else, and something can be as glorious as what you want to make it. So it's something that we need to internally look within and find our own space.
Actually, I also see a hand of God in this. In one of the, in Sri Shani Mahatmya, There is a narration of a samvad between Narayan and his one of his bhaktas. So Narayan tells him that, whomever I wish to bless, I first impoverish him. Because men, by very nature, despise others when in success, and they
Yes.
despise others, including me.
Yes.
So if I am bringing on any calamity or tough times to you, it might be a blessing in disguise.
Believe that you are being chosen to rise through the ashes.
So this is what I personally believe, and I
Right.
surrender all this wisdom to Shani Maharaj and Narayan that he is the master. वो जो परम योगेश्वर श्री कृष्ण हैं या जो मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम हैं या उनके जो लोग हैं आसपास के, सो वो उनका मतलब व्हेन यू लुक एट इट यू रियलाइज, एंड आप अगर कभी तुलसीदास जी की रामायण कभी आप उसको भाव से सुन लेंगे तो इट इज ऑल, यू विल सिंपली मेल्ट.
Yes. Yes. I love that word.
और
I've
मैं कई
experienced
गुरबानी
that.
में सुनता हूँ गुरुद्वारा साहब में, तो मेरे आंसू नहीं रुकते क्योंकि उसका भाव ऐसा होता है कि
Hmm. Hmm.
जितनी
Hmm.
भी थोड़ी मैं पंजाबी समझ पाता हूँ. सिमिलरली जो ये पूरी जो अगर आप देखेंगे कि जो हमारे जितने भी ईस्ट के गुरुज रहे हैं, उनका जो दर्शन है वो हमारी पूरी कल्चर से ही निकल के आता है.
Hmm.
वही मतलब देयर इज नोबडी हु विल अपोज रामायण और नोबडी हु विल यू नो so this
Yes.
is the backdrop, and we feel blessed to be, children of Bharat Mata. We are born in this blessed bhumi in human form
In
to
human form.
realize the, what human birth can possibly.
Amazing. And to have had this discussion with you on the Independence Day, I think it makes it even more worthwhile.
No, no, please,
It's
I
been
would just, in all, we are all, children of the same God, and we are all. I am also equally blessed to have this free communication on Independence Day, and as what we began with, that we owe it to people जो काला पानी गए, जिन्होंने इतनी torture सहे. We can never forget that, and we should not allow
we
our
should not.
freedom and our You see what they have earned for us, what they have secured for us so freely for materialistic gains कि हम ज्यादा पैसा कमाने के लिए झूठ लिखना शुरू कर दें. अगर हम जर्नलिस्ट हैं तो हम गलत लिखने लगे, हम साइंटिस्ट हैं तो हम किसी और चीज को एप करने लगे जिसमें मटेरियलिस्टिक फायदा है. बिकॉज दे गिव अस दिस फ्रीडम सो दैट वी आर फ्री फ्रॉम ऑल दीज इन्फ्लुएंसेस इन वट एवर वॉक ऑफ लाइफ वी आर. So I think the true tribute as a Bharatiya is that we to our people who fought, who gave us this freedom, is to be honest in our works and revive our culture and civilization. That would be really a true tribute to them in my views.
And share the wealth with the world.
That's true.
Thank you, Manishji.
Thank you so much, Ji, and
Thank
it
you.
was a pleasure again. And thank you so much for giving space on your platform.
Thank you so
And I
much.
hope it reaches people and it is able to connect with people. And we also
Truly,
look forward, if people have any questions on comment, they can put across, and I would try to address them
yeah, there can be
anytime
some
you have.
objections also. I believe you'd be able to handle the objections also
Yes,
because
yes, please, please,
you've been
please.
very, very vocal about certain things and you've not held
No,
back
they,
people
they,
saying also.
what I would say is that any topic that they pick up, they should be prepared for discussion till the end, logical discussion.
Hmm.
It may be, 10 conversations or 1,000 conversations, but either that conversation should either change my view or their view, or somebody who's actually, as a audience or as a spectator or as a simply as a reader of those comments, then he should also be, be able to find a position where this is right or that is right. And all this in a healthy way, like a, samvad or a healthy debate, शास्त्रार्थ जिसको बोलते हैं, truth finding, not to malign Western science or promote Eastern science or either way, vice versa.
Right. My idea also was to ensure that a spark of curiosity can continue to get uh, ignited, or if it is already ignited, to remain alive in anybody who is listening to this. So the areas can shift from the Indian Armed Forces to law, to Western science, to Indian cosmology, the Vedant, and everything. So one can have varied interest. You don't have to just be compartmentalized in your interest and just become master. I think I was listening to this podcast between Sushant Sinha and Anand Ranganathan, where he says that Anand Ranganathan says that we've got to be now jack of all trades rather than master of one, because that's where the interest stays alive. That's where, you know, our curiosities continues to get piqued. So if you've really liked this discussion that we've had, and we've really had a free discussion, we've not confined ourselves to just a topic. We've just gone free in this conversation, and Manishji has been very forthcoming in sharing his insights and his knowledge with us. So if you've liked this, do subscribe into to the channel, like it, press on that bell icon so that you are able to get the alerts of whenever we put up content like this. So on that note, thank you very much for your patience, and thank you, Manishji,
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks to
for
you
being here
and to
with
your
us.
platform. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.